and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 141 of the It's Obvious Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Preston Pugh, and I'm joined by my two best friends, Garrett Drake.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
And Jacob Alka.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine Saturday afternoon?
I'm doing well. I rolled out of bed around 2 p.m., nearly 2 p.m. Jacob had called me, not called me, had texted me multiple times, I believe, that he was at the pool waiting for me to pick him up. It was like half an hour before I woke up. I had talked to Preston this morning around 11, and he was also still in bed. And I'm like, oh, you know, man, just take your time. It's all good. I'm just laying here. We're like, all right, cool. Because we couldn't go to T-Bell. So just take your time. And then I woke up, like I said, at 2 p.m. Preston was also still in bed. So Jacob was waiting on me at the pool, which is understandable because I was up till about 8 a.m. working on the video version of the Kingdom Come review for COD Connected. And
so you're writing the review?
No, I did not write the review. I just did the video version. I would have loved to review it. I had the opportunity, but I had to decline, unfortunately, because of my work schedule. It's very sad. But then again, I'm only 3 hours into the game right now, so that goes to show I would have not reviewed it.
Never all on stream.
Yeah, I only had that one chance to play it on stream. So, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But,
I don't see how anybody's had enough time to fully review that game.
Yeah, I guess just going nonstop. But then again, it's been over 100 hours since the game released. So if one chose to sit in one sitting and play it from start to finish for 3 days straight or whatever, 4 days. You can probably do it.
I mean, I've been more than 100 hours the last 5 days.
Yeah, I can't even remember when it came out. My Tuesday. Mall turned around because of my work and school schedule. It came out Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, what's today, Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, I'm used to doing this on Sunday these days. So, but yeah, I'm doing
like
fine.
It's 40 hours into it, and I feel like I've hardly scratched the surface.
Or have you? So, what if the game just ended out of nowhere?
If it does, then that'd be a little crazy because, you know, story-wise, I feel like I'm not even close to being done. So,
yeah.
I've been watching some streamers play, and it looks interesting.
It is interesting.
It's not really something that I want to play, but I enjoy watching it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something that I think you definitely have to know what you're getting into in that game. If you think you're just going to play another Skyrim type
RPG
game
or something,
yeah, you're definitely will be in for a rude awakening. But it's definitely you have to know that it's more of a simulation type of game, so you have to be in that type of mindset, I think, to enjoy it.
By the way, Preston, to cut you off, Garrett, I think this is the most hilarious thing you do is you
put a napkin over the coffee cup.
It's like, why do you fill your coffee mug so high?
I fill it extra high. It's technically that's just a full cup. It's not overflowing.
Like, how can you not keep that from spilling?
I can, but you'd be amazed at just how crickety this house is. Like going up the stairs, it's like almost impossible to.
So are you saying your stairs move while you walk up the stairs?
They're the grand staircase from Hogwarts, yeah. No, but this house is lumpier than you'd think. It's nearly impossible to get up. I challenge you, Jacob, to try to climb my stairs with that cup of coffee without this spilling.
I bet you I could.
I bet you can't.
I could be pretty still.
Because I'm very still myself, but I'm always surprised at just how much the coffee easily slips out of these cups.
I don't mean to call you out, but I'm calling you out.
No, that's fine. I mean, I know it's silly, but there you have it. I haven't spilled a drop on the floor.
I'm just staring at this paper towel covered in coffee stains.
It also keeps it hot during the podcast because I can't sip it continuously as we go. So I got to.
So that's what you should have said. You should be like, "Oh, we're going to be talking."
I'm an honest man, Jacob, most of the time, and this is why I do that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had a dream that you and I went belt shopping, like we talked about in our text. Like, hey, man, my suit came in. You tried it on. I was like, yeah, I tried mine on. Yeah, it fits well. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, we both realized we both need that brown belt to match the shoes. It's the only thing we have to purchase.
Yep.
And I was like, maybe we should go shopping together, Jacob. We send each other little moon emojis smiling.
I probably need to do it tomorrow, if I'm being honest.
What time do you think you'd go?
Right after I get done volunteering.
Oh, you're going to be at the church. It's a shame. I was there last 2 weeks. I would have loved to come visit you. I kind of want to get involved with the team in there.
You should.
Somehow.
It's fun.
I don't know what I would do in there, but I want to learn, because I've had a video production class for like TV, you know, with like the multiple monitors and the control bay and blah, 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 blah. But it was so brief and quick that I hardly absorbed any of it. So I'd like to have experience in a room like that for real.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be beneficial.
It is.
What was I going to say, though? We were talking about the belts. Yeah, I think we should shop together.
Okay.
Maybe we can get matching belts. How cool would that be?
I don't think that would be that cool.
I think it'd be awesome. Yeah, I was telling Preston our suits came for Zach's wedding that we had to rent, and you had to put in all your stats, your attributes for your suit size and everything. And I made some good calls and some bad calls.
What did you fuck up?
So when I went to get my suit fitted, when he measured my pants, for some reason he gave me the longest pants I think I've ever put on in my life, Jacob. I mean, If I didn't have shoes on, my pants would extend past my foot, like draping across the floor. That's how big they were.
You are a long guy.
Yeah, but the pants were massive, and I was wearing them. He's like, "Yeah, these look good, man." I was like, "There's no way this is right." So I knocked off an inch from my pant size when I put them in online because I knew they were too long. Thankfully, those came in flawless. I mean, they fit me perfectly. It was a good call on my end. The shoes, on the other hand, are that of a circus clown. I typically wear a 12 and a half, depending on which brand it is, but these 12s were about half a size bigger than my foot. I mean, I literally looked like I was wearing clown shoes. And for a brief moment, I thought it would be hilarious if I actually wore these because it looks so ridiculous that I think it'd be a good goof. But I decided, it's Zach's wedding and it seems very formal, and I don't want to be that guy at the wedding, especially being a groomsman. If I was just attending the wedding, it'd be a different story. But the fact that I'm a groomsman, I should probably, take it seriously. So I resubmitted my shoe size, and they sent me the new ones, and they arrived. It's a great service. If you ever get married or have some sort of big formal party event, like prom, for example, go with theblacktux.com. They're excellent.
You just gave them a free ad.
I did. Yeah, we're actually sponsored by them this week.
I wish.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. We'll send them this podcast, and then we'll see what they say. Maybe they'll sponsor us.
Yeah, let's just send
Let's not talk about taking a shit this time, then.
Yeah, exactly. That.
I actually don't need to at all today.
I don't either.
It's nice.
I haven't had Taco Bell, but as soon as I finish this cup of coffee, it's going to come pouring out of me. So
coffee's so good, but it always, you got to go after you drink some.
But what's exciting about these suits is that it's the first time in my life I've actually worn a fitted suit tailored to me. I felt very much like John Wick getting fitted for a suit. Ooh. Except it wasn't as cool because when I was getting fitted, it was an empty store, and I thought it was an empty store, just me and the guy sizing me up. And out of nowhere, this old British guy, I don't know what in the world he's doing in Cumming, Georgia, comes piling out of the dressing room. He's like, Jonathan! He goes, "Where is the ivory pair?" or something like that. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. So-and-so. I'll be right with you." And the guy's like, "Sorry, I got to go help him real quick." So this British guy must come in and own Joseph A. Bank at the collection. But I thought that was hilarious. What does John Wick say when he's getting fitted for a suit?
Is this the second one or the first one?
The second one.
I didn't see it.
Oh, dude, it's so
awesome.
The movie's amazing.
Yeah, I can't remember what he says, but that's what it felt like when I was getting fitted up. And of course, I don't have like the Kevlar built into my suit or anything. That'd be really cool. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I felt really cool wearing it. And Carlos made a good point in our group text. He's like, "Hey, man, this is $150. I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm going to wear this every day."
Yeah, until the wedding. I'm going to wear the brown shoes tomorrow.
I think I'm going to wear the suit to school one day just for fun. Nice. Everyone's like, "Why are you dressed up?" And you're like, "Oh, I have a business meeting after school." I got to fly to China for a corporate meeting after class.
Don't get it dirty.
Yeah, I got to do my best not to. I go just get it dry cleaned, I guess, if I had to. Knowing me, I'll squirt ketchup or spill coffee on myself.
Yeah, I'm always terrified when I dress up nice that I'm going to spill something on my clothes.
Yeah. I made the ultimate first impression with my appearance in 8th grade because you may remember this, Jacob. I remember what you wore on your first day of 8th grade.
Really?
Can you believe that?
I have no idea.
A button-down plaid shirt with khaki shorts, flip-flops, and you had your mullet and you had highlights in your hair. I have a very photographic memory in moments where I'm either very uneasy, frightened, or excited. And I was very uneasy there because, I was there in 6th grade. I left for 7th grade and came back for 8th grade. So it's very weird for me because the friends I did have...
Were we in that science class?
We were. That was 8th grade, yeah.
That was our homeroom teacher.
Yeah. So the friends that I did have in 6th grade had moved on and found new friends. So I had to make new friends in 8th grade. I wasn't friends with anyone when I came back. And I had very long hair. I had a Volcom white t-shirt on because I was really into skateboarding at the time. And I had bright green gym shorts on with some Vans shoes. Wow. And everyone else was all prepped out in 8th grade. I stood out like the ultimate sore thumb. And just to add insult to injury, at lunch that day, I was opening a ketchup packet and it squirted like a super soaker at me and just destroyed my shirt. I just remember being like, "Ah!" And I looked even stupider. And I remember the last day of 8th grade. You remember the guy? His name was Seth something.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his last name. His name was Seth. And they were doing like a photo reel of 8th grade of like the whole year. And of course, me and my outfit from first day school with ketchup all over my shirt was in the reel.
Oh, no.
And he's like, I got it. And this is after I'd made a couple buddies, thankfully, by the end of 8th grade. But he goes, I got to tell you, Garrett, you made the ultimate first impression with that ridiculous outfit on the first day of school. It's like, oh, thanks, man. So I don't know why I'm telling this story. It just has to do with appearances. And wearing a fitted suit feels really cool. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
That was probably the highlight of my week, trying on that suit.
That was the highlight of your week.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does feel nice to wear a suit. There's no denying that.
Yeah, I agree.
But Kingdom Come Deliverance.
You want to talk about
what we
that?
were talking about.
Do you want to go into that now? You guys want to talk about the games we played leading up into Kingdom Come? What do you guys want to do?
Well, first of all, we should probably tell people that there are going to be time codes in this podcast.
Yeah, we should.
So if you don't want to listen to all
man.
this garbage, well, I don't think it's garbage, but maybe you do. I don't know. But there's definitely time codes. We usually, sit here and spiel for about 45 minutes to an hour. But after that, we jump right into the news.
That is correct.
Yeah, we didn't go to Taco Bell today, so that probably will cut down on the pointless bull crap, at least off like 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah, at least.
But we can go right into games that we played this week, which will probably just naturally weave its way into Kingdom Come impressions.
Yeah. That could be the headliner of our games we played this week discussion.
I like that.
So let's open the show with what Jacob played this week.
Yeah, because I didn't really play much. That was different from last week. I played a little more Zelda today, waiting for Garrett to get ready for the podcast. I played some more Overwatch. Really enjoying Capture the Flag mode right now. It's the new mode it was in last year's year of the, Rooster? And this year it's the year of the dog. They made a new map. It's really cool. I really like the map. And been playing a lot of Diva on the Capture the Flag. She's pretty good. As long as she has another tank to go with her. So,
GG.
Yeah, GG. And I played more Monster Hunter World. I beat the last boss in the game. Very cool fight. I've taken care of all the Elder Dragons. Right now, I'm pretty much just knocking out all my optional quests, and I'm tracking down investigations for tempered monsters, I guess.
So what you're saying is the hype is dead for Monster Hunter?
No, certainly not. I still, there's just something about the game. Like, I just enjoy playing the game. It doesn't matter what I'm going to do or like what monster I'm going to kill. I just enjoy.
You think it's a culmination of the way it looks, sounds, and performs and everything? Because I feel like the world itself is fun to just run around in.
Yeah, it's weird because the the different areas are very they never change. They're always the same, but they're big enough to feel like you always want to keep exploring them and just keep checking around every corner. It's like, oh, there's a mining location I didn't see the first time. I just enjoy just running around those little worlds and killing shit. So I'll continue to keep playing that this week, and maybe here in a couple more weeks I'll have had my fill of Monster Hunter and I'll move on to something else I need to play. Like
Overwatch.
I mean, I've been playing Overwatch, but I think the next game I need to finish Zelda. That's what I need to knock out.
You're getting close, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, every time we've met up here is when I play it.
Is that only when you play it?
Pretty much, yeah. At this point, but after I put down Monster Hunter, I would like to get back and just completely do everything that I want to in that game. So
excellent.
I will keep you updated.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Jacob. Is that all you played this week?
Yes, sir.
All right. What about you, Preston?
This week was pretty much all Kingdom Come. I did dabble in some Monster Hunter for a couple of hours. I been trying to upgrade one of my swords called the Stealer, which pretty much looks like a tail of a, oh man, I'm gonna butcher the name, Lagania, I think. Is that
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. So I had to beat a few bounties to unlock a gold print thing to turn into the melder to get a Lagania gem, because I was not having good luck with the RNG gods to have that actually drop from the monster. So I worked on that, was able to fully upgrade that sword to its rarity 8 form. Nice. The next thing that I need to do is fight the 3rd Elder Dragon. I beat Teestro and that flying wind dragon thing that destroys my PlayStation.
Deora.
Yeah, so I haven't fought the 3rd one yet, but I'll probably knock that out sooner or later. Then I'll go and fight the final one. But I definitely will be sticking with that game.
Vol's not too bad. You just need to bring some knoll berries.
Oh, okay.
Because he'll put that blight stuff on you from the what's it called? The Forgotten Veil.
Oh,
that stuff that damages you.
Gotcha. Or I have a piece of armor, I think, that just completely negates that. I might just wear that.
Yeah. And it's actually cool, his armor set. Not only does it look awesome, but for when you go fight him again, if you wear his armor, it'll like resist you from that stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen the final boss. His name's like what, Xeno something?
Yeah,
the final
Xeno for sure.
Yeah, all his gear looks so cool, and I know I need to get a few things from him to fully upgrade my Neagle Reaver to the final version of that sword. So
yeah, I've been trying to farm him to do that as well, because I'm pretty sure that's my best weapon, is that the Nurgle whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot what version it's called for me.
Yeah, but no, I'm still really infatuated with that game, and I think I'm still going to be playing it for a long time, because that's just a fun game to just jump in and just see some materials you need, and within an hour you can knock out the boss 2 or 3 times and see if you can get what you need and just continue on, especially once the story's over. Not that the story is really engaging or you need to really pay attention to it or whatever, but it's a great podcast game. Like I said, great game if you have an hour or two to just farm some stuff. And like you said, the world's just really fun to be in. All the characters are fun, and just running around the town is a good time and stuff. So yeah, still really liking that game. Like I said, the main thing for the most part that I dabbled in was am I still in Skype with you, Garrett?
Let's see.
I think I am. It is gone from my computer though. I have no clue.
Yeah,
where
I see
it went.
it. I mean, I don't see you, but it says we're still connected.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm not sure where you went, but whatever, that's fine. I purchased the BioShock collection off of Humble Bundle. They were having a sale, and for $17, I was able to get that collection for PC. And I recently watched a in-depth, like ultimate critique of BioShock Infinite. And even though I recently just platinumed that game on PlayStation, I just really want to play that game again. So maybe when stuff dies down, or I just have like a 30 minutes or an hour to spare, I think I'm gonna hop back into Infinite and play through that. I really like that game, and it is I don't want to get into it too much, but it is interesting to see the what fans actually think of Infinite. I know it gets a lot of hate, and I think some hate is deserved, especially coming after BioShock, which is, praised as one of the best games of all time. It is very different, and I completely do understand the criticisms, but just by itself, I do really enjoy Infinite, and I think it's awesome, and I really like the story, and I think the way that it ties itself into the original BioShock is really cool. Garrett, I know that you have not played, I think, Burial at Sea, or I don't think you or Jacob have played Burial at Sea.
No, I never played it.
Yeah, if that ever gets on sale again, I definitely recommend at least playing those 2 DLCs and how it weaves itself into the original BioShock through the story and stuff. Mm-hmm. It is a really cool concept in terms of it has to do with like how Rapture and Columbia, how like they share technology and stuff. I don't want to spoil really anything, but it is a really cool story, and the gameplay is really fun in the DLC, especially part 2 where you actually play as Elizabeth, and it's kind of stealth focused, which definitely changes up the gameplay. You have a crossbow. It's just really fun. So definitely recommend that if you never played those or whatever.
But riddle me this real quick before you move on. This goes to all 3 of us. If you had to choose between living in Rapture or Columbia, which one would it be?
Columbia.
Yeah, Columbia is just less. I mean, Columbia turns into a shithole, but it's just way less scarier than Rapture. I feel like it's way easier to figure out a way off of Columbia than it is to get out of Rapture.
All I gotta do is jump.
For sure.
If you could like
jump, man.
You could just build a parachute or make your own like a paraglider like Link has, and just fly off the top of a balloon.
So let's say both these worlds never go to shit. They survive indefinitely and flourish and prosper. Would you still choose Columbia?
I think I'd choose Rapture at that point. Just
yeah, me
too.
too.
City underwater.
I'm just
so
fascinated
cool.
with Rapture.
See, I haven't played Bioshock yet, so I need to play it.
You should play it on PC. I bet it's awesome.
I already have the collection bought on PS4, so
do you?
I should play it there.
I mean, it's still great on PS4. But
yeah, dude, the original Bioshock is incredible.
Yeah, what a masterpiece.
I just remember playing Infinite for the first time and just being like I was in love with that world when I played it. It was great.
I mean, Rapture is you really need to play it. It's awesome. And Bioshock 2 is excellent as well, even though it's not, created by Irrational Games. It still is definitely a competent sequel. The gameplay is awesome. The world is still, awesome. And just playing as a Big Daddy in the second one is just a really cool, just having the drill and all that stuff. But I enjoy that game, that series a lot. It's awesome. What else did I play? Play a little bit of Destiny 2 just to kill time today. It's fun to shoot stuff in that game. But besides that, pretty much Kingdom Come was the only thing that I played.
What was that?
Oh, nothing. I totally didn't play Destiny 2. I was just kidding. Nothing. But before I actually get into Kingdom Come, Garrett, you want to talk about anything else you played? I know. Oh, me and you also played the Sea of Thieves stress test. I think we somehow mafoogled our way into the stress test.
Yeah. Just make up a word.
Mafoogle. Basically what we did.
Yeah, like through the insider program, we were able to download it, but I think they closed that off now because I tried to get my uncle in and it just would not let him. They changed the name of stress test to the closed beta and he wasn't able to download it through the insider program. So I don't know if we got lucky or what.
They caught on.
Yeah. But we played that for a handful of hours.
We played roughly 6 hours yesterday of Sea of Thieves.
Wow. Really? Holy
I have over 4.5 hours of gameplay. So
dang.
Well, then how is that?
I can kind of give my little miniature thoughts, Kieran.
We played a little more other than what I recorded.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of give our brief thoughts on that before we go into Kingdom Come. But I thought that it was a good time. But granted, I don't want to be one of those complainers that like. I'm not saying that there's not a lot to do and stuff because it is a beta. It's not the full game, so I'll still kind of be reserved about those thoughts. But if I haven't seen anything in terms of the previews or anything that I've read, things that are just too drastically different than what we were doing in this closed beta. I know that there's in-game, I know there's fighting the Kraken, I know there are these raids that you can go on, but the raids do sound exciting, but having actually played the game and seeing that the combat is very lackluster, at least in the beta it is, it doesn't have me excited at all to do these raids if all they require you is going into these fortresses and taking out skeletons or getting something and having to fend off waves of skeletons. My hype for that is died quite a bit just because, like I said, it's just not fun to fight in that game. There's hardly any weapons. The sword fighting is just not good.
It's very stiff.
Yeah, it's very stiff.
Even playing with keyboard and mouse, it kind of locks you in with whoever you're fighting, and it feels very stiff and clunky. I don't like it.
Yeah, there's really no like mechanics to it. You just kind of, there's a block button, but so you can block a little bit, and then you just kind of mash the button and do your little 3-hit combo, and then you have to wait for it to kind of cool down, and you can do it again. The gun combat is just extremely simple. There's 3 weapons. There's a scoped rifle, there's a blunderbuss, there's a pistol, and you have like 6 shots with each. And so you just, once you shoot those, you're back to your sword. So the enemy variety, granted, like I said, as a beta, is just non-existent for the most part. You're either fighting other players or you're fighting skeletons that are wearing different colored bandanas. And you're just sailing around, getting treasure chests, and you're taking them back to the outpost and you're selling them just to unlock, more missions and stuff. So if the game is like that, then I think it will be a fun time, but I don't think I'm going to stick with it really, because it's not it's not deep enough. There aren't enough really, mechanics in it, combat wise and just mission wise.
There's nothing to keep you coming back.
No. And I think for that reason, it's very much an Xbox Game Pass game, to where if I just paid $10 for the month, or just $10 for a month to play that game, I would feel fine. It feels very much right now. And granted, like I said, I want to put a little asterisk on everything. This is just the beta. The full game could come out and there could just be crazy awesome missions and tons of enemy variety, and they've messed with the combat and it's way awesome, and everything I'm saying right now just holds no weight. But as of now, it kind of feels like a free-to-play game to me.
Yeah, it definitely does. That's the strange thing about Sea of Thieves.
Just
this is my second time playing the game.
One nice thing after all that, it is gorgeous. It is such a pretty game.
Yeah,
the water is like insane.
It's
especially like maxed out in 4K. It is so freaking pretty.
Mm-hmm. And this is the weird thing about
cut you off.
Sea of Thieves. This being my second time playing, this is when I really got into the game as a whole. Because when I did it initially with COD Connected, I didn't really get too deep into it. I didn't really fully understand how the ship operated. I understand how the treasure hunts worked. Only thing I really got from it was the combat. I'm like, oh, it looks really pretty. But this time around, it's strange because we played for about 4.5 plus hours. And by the time we would finish, we played in spurts. I think we played 2 big chunks, about 2.5 hours each. And by the end of each chunk, I was like, all right, I'm ready to take a break and do something else. But it's funny because after I step away for a while, I'm still kind of like, for some reason, I want to go back to it and explore some more. And I don't know why. Because once you get in there, it is exactly like you described. You just get the treasure map, you follow the clues, which I will say the more fun, more enjoyable treasure hunts are the ones that give you clues on an island. Granted, it's never anything spectacular. It's just like gives you a little riddle and it's like, go find the butterfly on a rock, and you just go where it tells you find it, and maybe hold up your lantern and it gives you another clue and you go somewhere else. I mean, those are kind of fun.
I actually did play it a little bit last night. I think I was trying to play with you guys, but then I just wanted to try it out, so I went to a lobby with random people, and there was a clue. There was like, find this dead skull man next to a lantern or something. Yeah. So we went into this cave and we found him. Then we dug up the treasure, and it was cool.
Yeah. So the treasure hunts are fun, but after a while they do kind of get old because, and like you said, unless they evolve a bit in the full game, I don't know. But like I thought one of the more interesting chests, or 2 of the more interesting chests in the game, one is called the Chest of Sorrow, where it's like a blue treasure chest that will cry every now and then. It literally cries water.
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you're trying to get back to the outpost to cash it in, because they usually get a lot of money for those. And whenever it starts crying, it instantly floods your ship very quickly. So you have to toss it overboard, drop the anchor, and scoop all the water out till it stops crying. And that can leave you as a sitting duck if enemy pirate ships come by and attack you. Thankfully, we never had that happen, which kind of sucks. So I think it would have made it far more exciting.
Yeah, ours started crying, and I jumped off the ship with it.
Yeah.
And then I just left the lobby because they left me behind.
Did they? That's hilarious. But what was I saying? I can't even stay on my train of thought.
Talking about the different types of chests.
Yeah. We picked up one called the Chest of 1,000 Grogs, or the Drunken Grog or something. Wow. And every time you picked it up, it instantly made you drunk, and it was like impossible to get back to the ship. So that one was a struggle. It was pretty cool. But again, that we cashed it in for maybe 80 gold, which is nothing. I was like, you'd think something that interesting would give you something more. But maybe instead of giving you gold, it gives you like a legendary golden tankard or something for your grog. Just something silly like that. It's weird though. I still kind of want to dabble in it, even though we've done everything you can possibly do in the stress test. I don't know why I feel that way. I think it is just the good moments shine is when the game looks gorgeous. I love sailing the 7 seas. The pirate battles I think are the most fun especially when you have a ship full of treasure you've been collecting for a couple hours and you get in a big ship battle. It's very risky. And I think the game would benefit from a PvP mode where it's strictly just in a small portion of the ocean where ships can just battle like 4-on-4 or 2v2 and stuff. Just kind of get the hang of ship battle. So when you go into the actual open world, you kind of know what you're doing. I mean, that's part of the fun too, is just a learning experience of becoming a pirate. But I think that could be kind of fun. Just, if you want to just do ship battles, because in my opinion, that's the most fun I've had in the game, when the crew's all working together to take out an enemy ship. So I think that'd be kind of cool. But, yeah, those are pretty few and far between. Me and Preston played with mostly random people yesterday, and it was really hilarious. Just the interactions we'd have all these random people from around the world, and that's so funny. We pulled up on a ship, parked at an outpost, and sunk the crap out of it because they just were parked, and we shot 1 million cannons into it. So we thought we killed them all, which we did kill them, but they can spawn back on that island after they respawn. And so we went to the island, started cashing in all of our treasure. Thankfully, we got all the treasure off. But by the time we did that, I come back around and there's an enemy pirate stealing our ship, sailing away. I was like, oh my gosh, they're stealing our ship. And all I hear is because there's proximity voice. I hear in the distance, fuck you. Just sailing away.
Did he get away?
Yeah. So funny. I mean, obviously, you can get a new ship if you just go swim out to the mermaid.
I actually spawned on the ship, our ship, and I killed him.
Preston, you killed him, didn't you?
Yeah, I killed him.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Just, fuck you. Just sailing away. It's hilarious. So little encounters like that are really funny. But I will say there's a lot of cool islands we explored. That's the shame about the islands. Like Preston said, there's just skeletons to attack. And other than that, it's just aesthetically it looks cool, but there's just nothing going on in any of the islands. There's
nothing to find either besides a treasure chest every now and then. I would find like a gold chalice that you could take back. But I mean, I guess that's good enough, but I wasn't really like, there was no incentive really for me to explore every crevice of the islands or anything. I was never really finding anything worthwhile, you know?
Yeah, I would love if we stumbled upon a random chest in a cave somewhere. And it's like, oh, cool, there's a cool pirate coat or pirate hat in here that one of us can keep or something. Or maybe it gives loot to your whole party. Depending, it's like an RNG type system. Like, oh, you have 3 people in your party, 3 items will come out of this or something. I don't know. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything to add to the game that would be cool. Because I really do think they have something special here that could be magnificent. It's just so condensed right now. They need to expand upon it exponentially. But we do have some additional details from Mr. Jeff Scott from nerdmuch.com detailing some stuff, some of which you mentioned, Preston, but others that I thought sounded pretty cool. So this main goal of the game may or may not be a cool thing if there's an in-game portion to it. Kind of like how Destiny 2 has suffered for a while, because when you reach the end game, there really isn't a whole lot going on. Mm-hmm. Especially in this game where the loot is few and far between and there's not much else to do other than searching for treasure. Mm-hmm. But they say the main goal is to become a pirate legend. Now, if you become a pirate legend by, I guess, amassing a certain amount of gold or treasure hunts, you get a secret key that takes you to a secret island that already exists in the beta and will exist in the full game. It's just kind of hidden in plain sight and you would never notice it. When you get the key, you get to unlock the secret island for legendary pirates. It's a legendary pirate cove. It's like this giant, I think the inspiration, and they didn't say this explicitly, this is what it sounded like. You remember in Pirates of the Caribbean, what's the third one called again?
At World's End.
At World's End, yeah. I always get that confused with that same title from Edgar Wright's movie. It's called like
Dead Man.
No, it's like at World's End or something. They go on the drinking thing. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
which one is it?
And the movie's called like At World's End or something. It has Simon Pegg in it. You and that ringtone, Jacob. Anyway, it's like a giant secret cave, and there's like a fortress inside for legendary pirates, kind of like from that third Pirates movie. And there's like a big pub there as well, and there's like ghost pirates everywhere. I don't know if you can do anything with the ghost pirates, but they all hang out there, and you're considered a legendary pirate. In addition to that, you're granted access to legendary pirate ships, and I don't know if they come with additional cannons or different sails, if you can customize them. I don't know. They just said you get a legendary ship as well that you can use. That's kind of cool. Like you said, there are Kraken attacks, which is kind of fun. If there are 3 ships in an area, it can take out 3 ships at once, and it can do all kinds of different things with its tentacles. It can obviously smash your ship to bits. It can pick you up and drown you with its tentacle. It can smack you off your own ship and you go flying. All kinds of stuff, but I thought that was interesting. And it can also blind you with its ink. If you get spat with the ink, it'll blind you for a pretty lengthy period of time, and you're just running around blinded on your ship while the Kraken's attacking. That's pretty fun. They say you have a warning. There's like a big ink puddle in the ocean. It says to avoid it, and if you run into it, you're screwed, basically. So there's an alliance system, too. I don't know what they mean by this. I was kind of talking about this while we were playing. It'd be cool if there are different pirate factions, and you can say, I want to kind of work with all of them. I don't want to work with a certain pirate faction, and maybe you get some kind of perk for doing so. Like, if you rank up all the way or different tiers of our alliance, you get these perks. Like maybe you get this cool outfit. Maybe this time you get a new part of a ship. You get stronger cannons, or maybe you get new sails or something if you align with our ship. Even if it's just cosmetic things, I think it'd be more incentive to do certain pirate hunts or certain treasure hunts.
Yeah, it'd be more incentive.
Yeah, and maybe some of them are we're a faction dedicated to finding treasure. Another one's like, well, we're a faction dedicated to finding artifacts in certain places, or maybe you have to go.
Why wouldn't everyone just want to join the treasure faction?
I know. I'm saying the perks for each one would give you a better incentive. You're always kind of doing similar things, like you're always searching for something for them. But maybe there's different perks, like I said. Like maybe this one does artifacts. Maybe there's more combat heavy treasure hunts in this one or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of anything to expand upon it. There's going to be limited time events. They weren't specific on that. So just random events to do. Apparently there's a fourth type of quest as well that they are not mentioning at the moment. They're waiting till release for some reason. So it must be something pretty interesting if they're not talking about it until release.
Maybe.
But then again, you'd want your game to sell well at release. So you might as well say it now to get people excited for whatever it is. I don't know. But like I said, I mean, I get bored of it after like an hour and a half. I'm like, all right, we've done everything we can do. As pretty as the game is, I'm ready to step away. But even right now, I'm like, I would jump back into that and mess around for a little bit. So I don't know what it is that's grabbing me. So I think it's just the idea and the potential it has is just sitting there, and I want to see it. I want to see it succeed because I like what's there already, but I want to see it improved and expanded on exponentially. So I think Rare has a real chance to do something special here, and hopefully they deliver. For their sake and for everyone, because I know a lot of people are excited about it.
I'll keep a watchful eye.
Yeah, you should do that, Jacob. A watchful eye, because you have an eye patch and one eye in the game.
Right. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, Preston, I guess that's all I have to say from Sea of Thieves. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. Like you said, I have high hopes for this game, and I hope it can, I hope it knocks it out of the park.
Absolutely. Aside from that, I beat Shadow of the Colossus, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm glad I finally beat the game, because like I mentioned last couple episodes, I beat the first Titan on 2 occasions. I think I did it once in PS2 and once in PS3. And Preston's originally the one who told me to pick up Shadow of the Colossus on PS2, I think, back in the day. And I beat the first Titan, and I was so confused at the time being a kid. It just was so unlike anything I'd ever played, so I just put it down. And so playing through it again was awesome. And especially when comparing it to the original, you realize just how beautiful the remaster is. I mean, that game is breathtaking. It looks so beautiful. It performs very well, too. But I would say it's definitely in probably the top 3 best looking games on PS4 at the moment. I think it'd be Uncharted 4, Horizon, and Shadow of the Colossus, probably the best looking games right now, as far as realistic looking graphics go. Loved the way it looked. The story was cool too. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but my predictions were almost accurate. Part of my predictions were accurate, but the rest I was a little off. But I really enjoyed not really the twist, but the reveal of the story at the end. And everyone's always been like, oh, it's so emotional. I wasn't really emotional at the end. I just thought it was very interesting. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I mean, there's some sad elements to it for sure. But when I beat it, I was like, oh, wow, that's really awesome. So then I watched a bunch of analysis videos and stuff just kind of clarified it a bit more. And I didn't realize that, I don't know if this is a fact or just predictions or something, but apparently Shadow of the Colossus ties into Eco, which Eco obviously came before Shadow of the Colossus, but apparently that ties into Eco, and then Shadow of the Colossus also ties into whatever that other game came out called.
Last
Guardian, yeah, the dog. So yeah, I thought that was cool as well. My only gripes with the game is there were some majorly clunky moments in it for sure. A few of the bosses, man, I got to a point where, like, at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I feel bad for killing the Titans. I got to a point, dude, I wanted to viscerally just slaughter them. I got so pissed off. I never died. It was so clunky sometimes, like trying to climb some of them because the climbing mechanic. And there's this one boss where you'd have to wait for him to bend down in this lake to jump onto him, and sometimes he just wouldn't bend down, and other times he would get in this weird, I don't know if it was a glitch, because they all shake around. You have to hang on. When they shake around, you have a stamina bar and you almost fall off. I swear I got in a glitch where this guy just shook indefinitely and just wouldn't stop. I was like, are you ever going to give me a chance to climb onto your head? And he never stopped, and I fell off, and I had to do that like 3 times. So other than that, it was excellent. I loved the simplicity of the gameplay. It was just go from Titan to Titan to Titan. And the whole time you're guessing, like, why am I doing this? Who am I exactly? Where did I come from? And I think that's the beauty of not only just the world itself, but traversing that world on Agro. That's his name. I can only remember it when I do his voice. But when you're riding Agro through the wilderness, and it gives you plenty of time to really reflect on your actions and questioning why exactly you're doing what you're doing. And when you come to the realization that that you're playing as someone that you may not always align yourself with in most video games. It's like, wow, this is an interesting revelation I had at the end of the game, and really, really enjoyed the storytelling. And it kind of compelled me to want to play Last Guardian. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do that yet, but just playing a game from Japan Studio and being just blown away by it. I know this is the remastered version, but I loved it. So, I liked it so much that I have already begun playing again on New Game Plus on hard mode, and I'm halfway through it. In one sitting, I got halfway through it on hard mode because I just enjoyed it so much. And it wasn't that I wanted like, oh, I just want to see the ending of the story again. I just think I once you have that revelation, it kind of clicked for me, and I was like, now I get what this game's all about. And I just enjoyed tackling the Titans on a harder difficulty because it's different. Because I initially put it on easy because with my busy schedule, I was like, I don't want to be challenged too much. I just want to blow through it and get through the story so I can say I've played the game. But on easy, I don't think it's the best way to play at all because there's only 2 or 3 spots on each Titan that you have to attack. So it's not very strategic. Not really. I wouldn't say strategic, but it's not very challenging in the sense that when you're climbing them, you have to monitor your stamina and everything. On easy, it was like unbelievably easy. I never died once. I hardly took a hit from any of the Titans too because it was just so simple. But on hard mode, it isn't necessarily hard, especially in New Game Plus, because all your stamina continues going up. It's already at max level when you start, and you have a ton of health as well. So it's not challenging on hard mode, but the more interesting aspect of it is that when you're climbing Titans, there are multiple more spots to attack each time, so it's kind of making it interesting. Like for one Titan, it's like, you initially killed him by stabbing him in the head on easy, but on hard difficulty you may have to crawl all the way down his back into like his hind leg and stab him there to finish him. So it makes the fights more interesting, I think. And once Preston beats it, I'd like to do like a brief spoiler cast where we kind of talk about our favorite Titans and the story as a whole. Even though it's 13 years late, I think people may or may not enjoy that, and I'd like to talk about it with you, Preston. So I think that'd be pretty cool. You said you're about halfway through it right now?
I wouldn't even say that. I think I'm like at the 6th or 7th Titan.
Okay.
So I know if I just sat down for a night or two, I could, knock it out.
Yeah. I also like that you can add filters to the game, because now that I'm playing on hard mode, I was like, I want to have fun with the filters now. So I added a monochromatic filter, essentially black and white. I adjusted the contrast a bit to make it like the dark's very dark and the bright's a little brighter. And so the black and white looks cool, and I added a film grain to it as well. So it kind of looks like I'm watching an old black and white movie while I'm playing. And it still looks breathtaking too. The graphics are just so good. So I'm really enjoying that as well. Just messing around with the settings. And there's different game modes too. You can actually play mirrored mode where it flips the entire world if you play again. I didn't do that because I kind of wanted to blaze through it on hard because, again, I'm limited on time. But that's a cool option as well. I think there's multiple ways to play the game once you beat it on different difficulties and everything. So I don't know if I'm going to go for the platinum because there's a bunch of hidden trophies I don't feel like looking up, but one in particular says to beat the game in under 5.5 hours. So I'm probably going to do that. I'm already halfway through. I'm only an hour into the game, so I should be able to beat it in time. But yeah, I can't praise that game enough. I'm glad I finally beat it. And to those of you that have yet to play it, I know many of you already have, but if you have not played it, I say it's totally worth playing on PS4 for sure.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think you would like it too, Jacob, honestly.
I mean, I'm going to play it.
It actually revitalized my passion for single-player games. Not that I didn't already have that, but I'd stepped away for quite a while now because of my work schedule. I was like, I'm just playing multiplayer experiences. But this really got me excited for, 1, God of War, and 2, whatever else I choose to play next that's single-player. Like, I'd really like to jump into Assassin's Creed. I have a Resident Evil 4 just sitting idly on my PlayStation 4. I might do that. But specifically for God of War, I was already excited because it's God of War and it looks awesome, but especially after Shadow of the Colossus, I remembered why I love single-player games so much. So, and take advantage of that photo mode too. I took some real pretty pictures in that game, and it goes to show just how pretty it is. So, yeah, I love it.
Nice, dude.
But that's it for me. That's all I played aside from Siege with you, Preston, and it was a good time.
Nice. Oh yeah, I forgot we played that last night. It's always a good time.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We played a match that was very interesting actually last night where, like Preston described, it was basically Call of Duty. We were attacking the first round and the entire team came flooding out of the building. And we just had a firefight in the middle of this courtyard, all outside of the objective. And then when we were on defense, they all rushed us with shields. Their entire team had some form of a shield. It was madness, running around with their shields and just everyone shooting at each other. We managed to win I think we went 3-0.
Yeah, we went 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, their tactics totally sucked, but it made the round very interesting because people never do that. I mean, if they do, it's rare, but it was really funny.
Yeah.
So it was a good time.
For sure.
That's it for me, though.
Nice. I guess we can talk about Kingdom Come for a little bit. I know you played about 2 or 3 hours on stream.
Yeah, that's all I've played so far.
I guess since you've played the least, what are your just overall, just brief first impressions of it?
I'm actually really enjoying it despite the very slow intro. And by slow, I don't even think when I reflect on it, I don't think it's a bad intro, so to speak. I think there is a little too much dialogue, a little too much exposition at the beginning. I'd rather be playing most of it. But I get that the opening's trying to teach you the very basic of basic mechanics in the game. Like, for example, like lock picking, and you have a brief introduction to sword fighting, but not real training. Kind of that you get introduced to the dialogue trees and like the health, not the health, but like the eating and sleeping and everything. So I get why it's that way, and I think it's a nice setup to the story too, because I love good old fashioned vengeance stories. I like that this kid who's a son of a blacksmith who knows absolutely nothing about combat and just living out in the real world. I mean, it's in the trailer, so it's not a huge spoiler, but he loses his parents, and he basically joins forces with this guy to become a knight, essentially, I guess. I mean, you kind of blaze your own path in the game. That's what I've gathered mostly from the story, and I like that it's all about him becoming the warrior he needs to be to not only avenge his parents, but to defend Bohemia as a whole. I think it's a really cool story. And as simplistic as that is, I think in medieval times especially, that works a lot for me. So I'm excited to get deeper into the story. I think the sword fighting, even though I barely scratched the surface, is interesting, and I think it makes for some memorable encounters, to say the least. And I'm excited to get into that. I like I'll let you go into detail on most of the stuff, Preston, because you played it more. But the only challenge I've really had is with the lock picking, and I've already seen there's already a mod you can download to make it a little easier. But I don't really have a complaint about that, because I kind of like that I'm extremely nervous every time I lockpick, because if it breaks, the person in the house is going to hear you every time. So I like that aspect of it, but I think it can maybe be improved a little bit to make it slightly easier. But other than that, I think it's pretty cool. I don't actually even hate the way you save in the game either. I like that challenge as well. I want it to be, if I'm going to play a realistic RPG, I want it to be as realistic as possible with it still being fun. And I like that I can't save wherever I want to unless I sleep, or I think it auto saves sometimes when it does cutscenes or something, doesn't it, Preston?
When you complete a mission or accept a mission or complete half of the mission, just sometimes you like do something to complete a particular objective, it'll save sometimes. Okay,
yeah, and then you have the save your schnapps, I think it's called, the save, if you can brew that. But I like it. I'm very excited to continue, and I want to get deeper into it. And I like the realistic aspect. One of the greatest aspects of it to me is the smallest little detail. And I've told you this is all about the small details for me for immersion in video games, is when you physically pick up and interact with everything you do. In most games, especially RPGs, like open the door, you just click a button, it opens for you, or just pick up this item, it just instantly appears in your inventory. I like that you physically pick everything up in the game and turn door handles and everything. It's cool. I appreciate it, Jacob.
No, what are you saying? I don't.
No, I'm just saying I'm excited about it.
I watched Preston make these schnapps, I think, on stream, and I thought it was a very interesting process.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Preston dive in now and just talk about everything he has to say about it. He's played it far more than I have. I need to run to the restroom real quick because I'm just so snotty. I haven't been able to speak this whole time.
I thought you were gonna say sweaty.
No, I mean it's pretty hot in here too. But
you are wearing a sweater.
Yeah, it was colder in here before you got here, Jacob. You bring the heat, man. I'm not opposed to it either. But Preston, you tell us about Kingdom Come. I'll be back.
All right, sounds good. So Kingdom Come does something that I'm sure if I thought about it hard enough, I could think of another game that does this, but it does something that I haven't really noticed as much in other games, and I think that it's a good thing to know before you go into it. But you play essentially as a loser for the most part. I think loser might be a strong word, but you play as this guy named Henry who has no combat experience for the most part. He's just an average guy. He doesn't know, like I said, he doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't know how to pickpocket. He doesn't know how to sneak for the most part. He's just run-of-the-mill Joe Average dude. You're not you're not the Dragonborn. You're not the Chosen One. You're not, there is absolutely nothing special about you. And that's how it's supposed to be in the beginning of the game. So in the first couple of hours, it throws you in some situations where you're supposed to fight, and it is irritating because you don't know how to fight. You have an extremely basic combat tutorial from some random guy in the town you start out in, and it just gives you very basic controls. Pretty much it just sets up how to attack and how to block. That's pretty much all you know.
Yeah.
And when you get in some combat situations, and if you're not fighting, the only guys you can really kill at the beginning are just 2 or 3 run-of-the-mill bandits. But besides that, if you get in an actual fight with a guy with a shield or a decent amount of armor, he is going to absolutely destroy you. And that really irritated me with the game at the beginning, because typically in these games, when you're the character you're playing as, you can fight, you can lockpick to some extent, you can do some of these things. I don't think I was just prepared to play as a guy that doesn't know how to do all this stuff, and the gameplay actually reflects that. I think one of the main things that comes to my mind is, I remember in Assassin's Creed 3, when you play as Connor for the first time, you're just some random kid from an Indian tribe, and you're going to meet Achilles for the first time at his home, and you fight like 5 guys at the same time, and you kick their ass. Like, you're doing all these special moves, but you've had no training as an assassin. That's always irritated me in games. Like, I want, especially in the Assassin's Creed series, I want to see progression through learning parkour and learning combat and stuff. And this game actually does that. You suck in the beginning, and that's what keeps me like kind of obsessed with the game right now, is that I'm actually seeing myself get better at combat, better at lock picking, better at archery, better at horse riding. Myself, like, just actually playing the game, and my character is getting better as well, and that's just so satisfying. With just knowing at the beginning of the game I was having such a hard time fighting just the simplest of guys, and now I know that I have decent armor, decent swords, and I can get into a fight and be somewhat confident. And that sense of accomplishment is much greater than any other game I can imagine, because you start off so weak and stuff. So there is a sense of accomplishment when you're actually able to fight some guy, and they're slow and methodical fights, and you have to attack them at different angles. There's different combos that you can learn as you use your sword. And what's cool is just in combat and any skill, the more you use it, the better the higher your skill gets, and the easier it becomes in the future. Like Garrett was talking about lockpicking, for instance. Lockpicking, I wanted to quit the game the first time I was doing lockpicking. It is insanely difficult, but the more you do it, the more you practice it. It's like, I don't know if I want to know this, and I know that the longer this game's out, the more people will have answers for this, but I don't know if the game is becoming easier or if I'm just getting better at it. I think
that's what's the strongest aspect of it, is that you really don't know, but it doesn't even matter is the questioning, because that's what's I think is so cool about it. Not only in terms of the character, but you as a player, it's like you truly are that character role playing because you are physically becoming better. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it might be a little bit of both, because now when I'm doing lockpicking and stuff, I still have to pay attention and make sure I'm doing it correctly, but I have so much more confidence doing it than I did, than at the beginning of the game. Like, for the most part, I can lockpick everything. Give me 1 second. I have to plug in my computer. It's about to die.
That's all right.
Oh, that would suck.
Jacob,
there we go. Oh yeah, but
okay,
yeah,
never mind. I was going to have Jacob say something while you were gone.
Oh no, I'm good. It was right here. But that's pretty much everything in the game. Everything that you do, you just get better, and that's one thing that if you're interested in this game in the slightest, you need to know that you're not gonna suck at the game. You need to continue on, and I think that is probably the hardest thing about recommending this game, is that like Jacob, you for instance, if you were interested in the game, just telling you that, hey man, you're gonna suck at this game, you're gonna get your ass kicked, but even though you're being frustrated and you might not really be having fun, hey man, just stick with it, because you'll initially have fun on the other side. And with there being so many games to play, I just don't know if you're gonna stick with it, where you're like, I can have instant satisfaction playing Monster Hunter and stuff. Like, why do I want to play as some loser getting his ass kicked on the streets, where I could be slaying all these monsters, or I could be playing all these other games and actually accomplishing things. But I can't say that, like, once you pass that barrier into another person, that might be exactly what you're looking for. You want to role play as this guy. You want to become better. Like, that could be fun in itself. And I think if I actually knew that going in, I it might not have frustrated me as much. But the second it clicked for me, where I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to suck, I don't know what I'm doing, that makes sense. The game became so much more funner for me, and I wanted to get better. When I got my ass kicked in a fight, I was like, no, like, what did I do wrong? I need to go train more. I need to go get more, accumulate more gold. I need to become better at fighting. Like, I strove to become a better fighter, to become a better thief, to make Henry get better, because I like Henry. I was surprised so much by how I actually liked the characters in this game. Just with it kind of being a Kickstarter game, and it did kind of has some jank, I really wasn't expecting the story to necessarily be engaging, but it is. I'm the main quest that I'm in right now. Garrett, you actually, I think I told you about this before or after you actually did your review, but the COG review you did actually highlights this quest. But I'm tracking down a guy that was a part of this robbery that turned into a massacre, and he's a part of this town. And I found out that this guy had a confessional with one of the priests, and I go to the priest and I end up drinking with him, and you end up getting trashed, and I've seen
this quest too,
teaming up with these girls, and it just turns into just this massive like ordeal, which ends up with you giving a sermon in your underwear, like drunk the next morning. And it was just so funny and cool. And I just got to a main quest right now where I'm having to infiltrate this gang of bandits, and I'm so interested to continue on, because I know there's going to be so many. Every quest, there are so many things that you can do. So I'm assuming I can infiltrate this group of people, and maybe, like, if I wanted to, I could become a part of them. Like, can I become a part of these bad guys and fight against who I'm initially working for? Like, just all these choices just make me very excited to get back into the game and see what I can do. And for the most part, like I said, that's how every pretty much how you can do every quest. You can, if you need a particular item, you can either talk with them or haggle with them. If your speech is high enough, you can sway them. And when it comes to your speech, different perks allow you to have higher charisma or higher speech, depending on what you're wearing. If what you're wearing is damaged, or if what you're wearing is dirty, or if you look like just a filthy dude. If you're trying to persuade some noble person, you're going to have a harder time doing that, depending, based on what clothes you're wearing. So there's just so many mechanics like that just make it completely different than anything I personally have played. I'm not really into these simulation heavy games, so this is my first step into that type of game, and I really enjoy those small simulation mechanics, like eating and sleeping. And if you eat too much, you actually become full and you're more tired, and if you don't sleep enough, it can actually affect your speech craft and stuff, and you'll start blinking and become tired, and you actually have to go sleep. And Jacob, just like you said previously, just even the I don't want to call it alchemy, because I know that's magic, but like making the potions and stuff, you actually have to learn how to read. You have to go to a scribe and learn how to read, and the better you get at reading, the more clearly you can see these words. Like right now, I can read stuff and make it out for the most part, but I'm assuming the more I read, the better I'll be at making out these words and stuff. But when you go make these potions, like you're not going through a set of menus. You actually have to grind the material. You have to boil the material. You have to do all these different things, and actually you have a book next to you, and you have to keep referencing the book and following the exact steps to make this potion. So just even something as simple as making a potion potion or whatever that in Skyrim or whatever. I never tried alchemy. I don't give a crap about making potions, but in this game, there's actually a reason to do it. Like the savior schnapps, making these potions will allow you to save, anywhere out in the wild. So there is a really big reason to do this, and it's just fun. I've never done crafting in a game where you like literally have to do everything and read instructions and stuff. So it's definitely a really cool thing to do in the game, and I enjoy it. But yeah, I'm 40 hours in. I can't wait to get back, and the game just keeps surprising me. I keep finding more and more quests that are really fun, and I just like getting better and better. Like I'm trying to get my archery up right now because I just suck so bad. So I'm just trying to use it as much as I can for myself to become more proficient and for my character to become more proficient. And I really like the leveling system in this game. It definitely reminds me of Oblivion. The more you do something, the better you get. And there are perks under each skill that makes you better. Like the more you use a sword, the more proficient you become with a sword, which allows you to actually learn combos. Like they're based on locations you hit, there will be combos. Like I'm using a long sword right now without a shield, and I know this 3-hit combo that allows me at the end to kind of drive the sword into him and push him back. And that's such a satisfying thing, to pull off. Just because it looks cool, and just executing a combo just in this combat style is just really satisfying. So I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything.
I really
else.
want you to tell the story you told me yesterday about the bandits and tumbling down a cliff and everything.
Yeah.
I think that I guarantee you people are going to want to play the game for sure after hearing that story, because I hadn't played it since that stream, and you telling me that story made me immediately want to jump back into it.
Yeah, so me and my uncle have been actually playing this game together. We're just in like a Discord party, just kind of talking about what we're doing and giving each other tips and stuff. It very much reminded of me and you playing Fallout 3 back in the day, just kind of talking about the game as we go. So that was a nice little flashback to that with me and him playing, which I definitely think me and you need to do if we have any time playing this game as well. But
I really want to,
yeah, it's so fun. So it's like 2 or 3 a.m. So I'm trying to, put the game to rest, but I need to save. And unfortunately I was out of a savior schnapp. So I'm trying to find a camp to go sleep at so I can save the game. So it's pitch black. I have my torch out, and me and Pebbles, my horse, were galloping through the woods trying to, just find a camp on the map or whatever. And I'm in like uncharted territory, so I'm not exactly sure where I am or anything. So as I'm going, and like I said, it's pitch dark, I end up flying off a cliff. And my Pebbles goes flying off to the right, and I'm scared he's going to die. And I go tumbling, and I don't quite break my legs, but I've injured both of my legs. So I'm running around trying to find Pebbles, and I whistle for him, and thankfully he's unharmed, and he runs up to me, and I hop back on him. And I keep going. Both of my legs are hurt, which, I definitely need to sleep now, because I know if I get in a fight, I'm going to have a hard time running away or anything. And getting in a fight is the last thing I want to do right now, because I know if I die, and that's one thing I actually like about the save system, which I know the save system is getting a little bit of criticism, but it kind of has that Dark Souls feel where you're scared to die because you're literally going to lose all your process. And unlike Dark Souls, you can't go get what you had back. So it makes you play differently. More like reserved as you're trying to find a spot to save. So I'm being extra careful, trying to find a camp, and I see a campfire in the distance, and I get off my horse and I walk up to it, and I don't see anybody. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I go up to a bed and I turn around, and there's 2 guys just laying there, and I just kind of stare at them for a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, did they hear me? Well, of course they start standing up, and immediately I start running for my life, because the guy is like decked out in armor, and I knew that this was at the time where I was still kind of hit or miss in combat, so I didn't feel completely confident in myself, especially with 2 bum legs. So I start running, and again, dude, with it being dark, there's a cliff right in front of me. I fly off the end, and this time I actually break both of my legs, and I'm bleeding, and I cannot run, dude. I'm like hobbling off, and I turn around, And the main scary looking dude with the sword and shield is running down the hill at me, but behind him is his partner. And just like me, he goes flying off the side of this cliff and is falling like face first down this cliff, like rolling. And I didn't even know there were like ragdoll physics like this in the game in the first place. So he's rolling down the hill, and I'm like backing up like very slowly because my feet are injured, and I see him like kind of stand up, and he just retreats immediately, starts like running back up the hill. So I guess he had hurt himself enough to where he didn't want to continue the fight. Well, the other guy with the sword and shield, he didn't get hurt. He starts pursuing me, and I whip out my sword and shield, and I'm guarding the entire time, and I see a village right behind me that I'm somewhat familiar with. So I'm thinking, man, if I can just get to this village and I can get the guards to maybe help me out, and I can just go to an inn and save for, just to end the night. So I have my shield up, and I'm slowly backing up with, my crippled feet, and I'm fending off, his attacks, and I'm just backing up more and more and more. Well, I have a perk called Burger, I think. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but anytime I enter a town, my speech, agility, and strength go up 1 point. So I see that perk activate, so I know I'm in city or the town limit, and I know my strength is up a little bit, and he's wailing on me, so I know that I have to just try and fight this guy. So I parry him one time, literally one time. I smack his sword away, and I stab him, and he gives up. So I'm assuming just because of a strength boost that allowed me to do that right there. So I'm like, oh my gosh, thank God I was able to fend off this guy. So I talk to him, and I'm like, hey, if you just give me enough coin, I'll let you, retreat. So he pays me, and he runs off. I bandage both my legs, and I take a potion called a Lazarus Potion, which just within 5 minutes allows me to regain all my health back. So I regain all my health. I run to an inn, and I completely forgot, with it being like 3 a.m., I can't actually purchase a room with it being that late because nobody's up, which I guess makes sense. So I know that I have to go back to that camp and actually sleep. And I figure, hey, man, with that guy's probably gone. The other guy, I think, is injured because he fell off the cliff, so it should be easy to go kill him. So I run back up that hill that I fell off of, and the guy that had fallen off is face first in the dirt, dead. So I'm assuming he bled to death or something. So this guy chasing me fell off a cliff, crawled back up it, and just died. So I thought that was hilarious and really cool. So I looted him, and I went back to the camp, and the guy that I had just paid to allow him to run free, he's sleeping at the camp. I suffocate him in his sleep, then I stab him. So I let the guy go just to come back, suffocate him in his sleep, stab him in the chest, and then I picked his body up, threw it out of the camp, and I finally was able to go to sleep and save the game. So just a really hilarious like side thing happened, to me with me just trying to find a save spot. And I think that was kind of the point in the game where I was like, okay, this is really cool. And from that point on to where I am now, it's definitely the funnest, that I've had playing the game, with my skills getting higher, with me doing more and more missions. And I wish there was a mission I could share with you, but I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I just don't want to say anything else. It just had me doing missions for this old this is the game's words, the old whore, me doing missions for her, stealing some things back for her. It turned out really cool. So that and that event, just I'm really loving the game right now, and I really can't wait to get back in it. So it's pretty much my thoughts on the game so far, and seeing the reviews, like the COG review and the IGN review with giving it 8s. I'm kind of hovering around that as well, so I can agree with that. It's cool to see that other people are enjoying this game as well. So I think it'll be, and I don't know who said it. It might have been a podcast I was listening to, but they said they could very well see this game becoming a cult hit. And I definitely can agree with that. I think the people that enjoy games like this are absolutely going to, freaking love this game. And like I said earlier, if you go into it expecting another Skyrim or something, I think you're going to be heavily disappointed. But if this intrigues you at all, I know it's $60 isn't something to just gamble on. But if what you've seen or if what I've said entices you, if there's a sale or if you're really into it, I definitely recommend picking this game up, because it's for sure different than anything I have ever played, and I really love it for that. So
yeah, it's always the stories people share from mini games, especially in RPGs and whatnot, and open world games, that get me excited to play it. And like I mentioned, I already wanted to go back to it, but as soon as you told me that story, I was like, I definitely want to have experiences like that of my own. So I'm very excited to go back. And I think that's everything you've listed is a testament as to why I think it's worth playing, or people that are even remotely interested, I think it's worth trying. Yeah, because it's great, or at least for me, it's been great so far. I know you're enjoying it as well, so I'm very excited to continue.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to hear more of both of your stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I imagine this time next week I'll have a tale or two to tell from my time in the game.
There is one more thing that I actually really like that is it's kind of frustrating at the same time, but it is fighting multiple people at the same time is very, very hard unless they are not well armored or anything. And I was getting so pissed off at one of the fights I was at. I was just throwing myself over and over at these guys. And I was like, man, why can't I fight these guys off? And again, it like hit me. I was like, well, yeah, I'm trying to fight 3 guys at the same time. That would probably be a little complicated to do, because they don't stand by like in older Assassin's Creed games and just watch a fight go on, man. If you're fighting 3 or 2 guys at the same time, they're gonna really attack you, and that offers another level of strategy. Whereas if you're trying to attack a bandit camp, come back at night when they're sleeping, poison their food, take one guy out at the same time, like do anything you can to make it that one-on-one fight that you can actually manage. And that is kind of a breath of fresh air, because I know that's been our main critique with the I know I'm bringing up Assassin's Creed 2 or 3 times with this, but being able to just be a monster fighting like 30 guys at the same time, like I want there to be incentive to use stealth or use other means to kind of whittle down the numbers, so I can take out 1 or 2 guys in a hand-to-hand combat. So I definitely think that is cool that you can't be just a tank that can take on an entire army by yourself.
Right. I think it'd be cool if the game had an arena type quest, kind of how Oblivion had one, where you're kind of a gladiator. I think that'd be cool especially for the combat in this game. You can enter as a knight and fight a bunch of guys.
It might have one. I don't know.
That'd be great.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I know I'm in a quest right now where there's like it reminds me very much of the Witcher 3, the fist fights championship or whatever. You have to go from fighter to fighter.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm in a quest right now that involves me doing that. I just haven't really done any of it yet. So
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the game, though. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it some more. Thanks for sharing, Preston.
Yeah, man. Oh, I guess I'm sorry I keep like, one more thing. But yes, there are bugs in the game.
You flew to space.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Jacob, I need to send you that video. But I went to an alchemy table, and it literally launched me to the moon. I flew 1,000 feet into the air. And
Preston sent me the video, just slowly elevating all the way to space.
When I stood up, I fell about 1,000,000 feet and died.
Yeah. Turns out there is magic in the game. You can fly.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I haven't had any like massive game breaking bugs, but I know some people have had some weird quest glitches or whatever. So
I know in your stream you morphed into that guy in the hot tub.
Yeah. I actually played through that mission again, and everything was fine the second time. So nice. I guess that was just a goof. And I mean, when you're especially a team as new and small as these guys trying to do something as crazy as what this game is, that was completely to be expected. And of course, it's like each person, especially on PC, different rigs, different consoles. I know there's different glitches for each person, but so far I haven't had any game breaking bugs. I surprisingly haven't had any crashes or anything either. But it's also not the most optimized game. I'm playing it in 4K at medium settings, and it's running feasibly. I might get a drop to like the low 50s or whatever, but for the most part, I'm hanging at around 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
So
I will say that what's most impressive is that not only was it a crowdfunded game, but I don't know how big their team is. I assume it's not massive by any means, but the fact that they're able to make a game that looks and performs as well as it does, even though it does have its bugs here and there, is incredible. I think it's a huge achievement. So who keeps calling my mother's Skype account?
Who's the only one that does?
It's not my sister. Something called ICE. Ice. It's Vanilla Ice.
I do need to be done in an hour, so.
All right. Well, if you have to
dinner
bail,
plans tonight.
Yeah, if you have to bail before we're done, I understand.
Should I walk to my car?
I don't know. I don't know if we can do this in an hour or not. Maybe if we blaze through it, we can. We can probably blaze through it.
Maybe we're supposed to start at 1:30 today. So
yeah, we were.
That was
you want to bring us in?
That was like the main chunk. Also,
yeah. It's the rest is little things.
Yes, this obviously gaming podcast. Show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games. Obviously, check us out at youtube.com/It's Obvious Gaming. If you want to check out the live video, or I guess not live, just the video of this podcast, check us out at Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Spotify, Google Play, Audio Boom, other podcasting services. Check the description down below for its timestamps, links to our social media pages, PlayStation community, Steam names, all that stuff is down in the description down below. Please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to like and comment down below to get involved with the community. Doing so helps us out tremendously, and we'd forever be in your debt. With all that out of the way, hey man, what's the news?
Gentlemen, the rumors are back once again. We maybe be able to change our PSN names in the coming years, months, weeks, I don't know. According to Eddie Macick of GameSpot, quote, the website Push Square received a survey from Sony claiming that they're exploring the possibility of adding a feature to PSN that lets users change their ID. And by the way, Push Square always makes me think, hey guys, this is Sammy from Push Square, and today we're going to talk about the best way to play Skyrim in PSVR. That's my Sammy impression from Push Square.
I've never heard of this.
Hey guys, this is Sammy from Push Square.
Is this like a big company or something?
Push Square is like a PlayStation media company. They're on YouTube a lot too. Anyway, according to the survey, players would be able to change their PSN ID, quote, multiple times for free, though only once every 6 months. I think it's similar to how Ubisoft does their IDs as well. It says, under the proposed system, if you changed your name and wanted to revert it to your original tag, you would have to get in touch with Sony's customer support team. I could see that being a total disaster. Someone's like, I want to revert back to my old tag, and then maybe someone else claim their old tag. I mean, that's one in a million. They claim the exact same tag someone used to have, and Sony's like, well, someone else has it now, and it could just be a total disaster, I think. But again, this may not even happen. It goes on and says, bear in mind that this survey is not binding. As a line states, we can't be sure whether this feature will be added or not, but we can be sure your opinions on the matter will be heard. Will it happen? We don't know, but I like the system that they plan on going with if they do implement it, where you can change it multiple times, once every 6 months for free. That's awesome, I think. Not that I would ever need that, but I like the options, and the fact that it's free, it's great.
I'd like it. I don't like my name.
I think you need to go to Richard Drangle or Jacob Angus Stinky Ringus.
I'm not going to do either of those, so you're going to be disappointed.
Which one would you do if you could change it right now?
Neither.
I know.
I don't have one set in stone.
Okay, no. You just don't want to be lost in the echo anymore.
I'd rather it just be my last name, Alka.
Alka?
I just want it to be simple.
That'd be pretty cool.
But there's no way that's going to be available.
I think Al Capone is brilliant, Jacob. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
It's okay.
That's one of the punniest, best names you've ever come up with. That's like Zach level pun right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think you should do Al Capone. I doubt anyone's ever taken that.
It's probably taken.
What if it's not?
I was playing Overwatch this one day, and there's this guy I was talking to. He was like, I've seen your name like everywhere. It's like he said he's seen 4 other accounts with Al Capone. I was like, really? Oh, really? I was like, oh, I don't like my name anymore.
Man, well, if it's not taken on PSN, I think it'd be brilliant if you took that. Mm-hmm. Preston, would you stay John Poobah?
Yeah. I like Poobah.
I'm kind of locked into Alistair Shaft at this point. But
are you?
Yeah, I mean, I almost was Harold Bucksworth, like I mentioned. I could be Donald Doohickey. I don't know.
You could be anything.
I could,
Every 6 months.
You can be anything you want to be.
I definitely need to change my Xbox gamer tag for sure. I feel like a
Bulldog 2012.
I feel like a 7th grade boy playing with that name. Hence, I was a 7th grade boy when I made that name.
Yeah.
So I need to change it to John Poobah as well, but I already took John Poobah's name with another Xbox account. So before I knew
you could be Poobah Jones, your other nickname.
Yeah, I could be.
I might do that. John Poobah Jones. So, yeah, that's cool though. I hope it happens for people that want to change their names.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I'd probably take advantage of it at some point if they implemented it. From some not lukewarm, some moderate Fortnite fans, being Preston and I. Fortnite is implementing new temporary modes that actually sound pretty fun. And the reason I bring this up is because I think Fortnite, even though they basically stole PUBG's idea, I think they're expanding on it in brilliant ways, and I think that's why Fortnite is seeing so much success. One, because we know accessibility, but also because of all the updates they're bringing to the game very quickly. Granted, Epic is a very powerful developer. I mean, they have a lot at their disposal, so... Anyway, Fortnite Battle Royale. Oh, this comes from Samuel Horty at PC Gamer, by the way. He says Fortnite Battle Royale's stream of temporary game modes looks set to continue following. Epic will add 5 to the game within the next month, and at least 5 more soon after. It said yesterday. One of the first 5 will be a reworked version of the 50-on-50 game mode, first introduced in December, but the other 4 will be new, and they include a mode that reduces the size of the map by limiting the drop zone to within the first circle, which I thought was cool. If you drop from the party bus or whatever, there's a limited circle where you drop. So the 100 players are just madness in a smaller circle. I think that sounds pretty fun. It says, other than those 2, players can expect a blitz mode with shorter rounds, a mode that has less time between circles, and one with team sizes between 50-on-50 and squads. Epic is planning to quickly spin up a dozen or so limited time modes, and it said in a blog post, including one called The Floor is Lava, where it says, presumably you won't be able to touch the ground, so building will be paramount. So Preston and I would definitely suck at that mode. It sounds very fun. So I thought that sounds pretty cool. Me and Preston dabbled in Fortnite for a COD Connected video not too long ago, and I had fun. I still think I prefer PUBG over Fortnite, but Fortnite is cool, and I think these temporary modes are what's bringing so much popularity to it and so much success. Is not only is it just a fun battle royale game, because it's basically a dumbed down, no, I wouldn't say dumbed down, but a mere copy of PUBG with the building mechanic and different graphics and everything. But these modes specifically, I think, bring a lot of variety to the game, and that's what's keeping people there.
Can you aim down sights in Fortnite?
Sort of, not like directly down sight. You can go into first person.
So it's like a zoom third person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious.
Unless you're sniping.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd be down to dabble in some of these modes, because I haven't played anything aside from the base Fortnite game and Battle Royale, so I'd like to dabble in them.
You didn't try the 50v50
I haven't
mode?
tried that yet. I'd like to, though.
I'm pretty sure it's not in the game right now, though, right? It was like a December event.
Yeah.
They're bringing it back.
You know, this game has hit it beyond mainstream when I see girls I went to high school with making jokes about their boyfriends playing Fortnite too much and stuff. So, and like I see memes from like
did you see that
Fortnite all the time?
Picture of the house like burning down and the guy's
so
like
funny.
playing Fortnite?
Yeah, I
like
saw that.
When your apartment's burning down, but you got to get that W in Fortnite. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fun. I'd like to play it a little bit more. But speaking of Battle Royale, PUBG cheaters, 99% of them are in China.
Wow.
This news comes courtesy of Reese Buggets of nerdmuch.com. It's been a while since we've read from Reese, but Nerdmuch, man, they're killing it. I still recommend Nerdmuch highly. They got great coverage on that website. Quote, the problem with cheaters in PUBG is apparently growing by the day. According to the game's anti-cheat technology provider BattleEye, the number has increased to 1,044,000 in January alone. Judging by the steady increase since BattleEye started working with PUBG, the provider adds that the situation will only continue to escalate. That said, it has recently come to light that 99% of these cheaters are from China. The admittance was recorded on BattleEye's official Twitter and later discussed by Yuxi Story. The latter points out that the situation is further complicated by the fact that 46% of PUBG's player base is in China. As such, region locking China is a matter of tossing the majority of their players to the wolves because of a few bad apples. Well, 1 million bad apples. But with that last active player count being a little over 2.5 million, it is a difficult decision to cut that many out with a region lock. Can you believe that? That they would consider having to region lock China because there's just so many cheaters. Insane. It's a disease part of the server is China.
Are we also talking about how the PC players have been dropping on PUBG?
Yeah, it isn't drastic, but it is is significant. Yeah, for PUBG at least. But I don't think that's a surprise because like I said, Fortnite is so accessible on so many different platforms, and they continue to evolve it. I'm not saying that I think Fortnite's the better game. I just think it's right now it's the much more accessible game, and people have more variety going into that. Whereas PUBG is PUBG, and for more or less still has a lot of its same bugs and issues that they're still trying to suss out. I think it's very solid when it works. Yeah, and like I said, I still enjoy it more than Fortnite, but I can understand why.
Fortnite's like the talk of the town right now too. Like,
right.
Everybody's talking about Fortnite.
Yeah.
I don't really know enough to speak about either one, so it's kind of...
Some people I follow on Facebook that never even play games, they're like posting, like you said about girls talking about their boyfriends, like just like random people on Twitter and random people I went to high school on Facebook, they're just talking about playing it. And I've noticed all of them that have screenshots is all PS4. So I think that they've just... they haven't had accessibility to a battle royale game just because there really wasn't one on their platform, until Fortnite came out. And with it being free to play, that's a massive reason, that so many people are playing it, especially. I would be interested to see how the drop off of Fortnite, or just how many more copies or how many more people would join the overall base of people playing PUBG if it came to PS4. I'd be interested to see numbers wise what would happen if that happened.
Yeah, me too.
Well, the good thing about console Fortnite is that it actually performs well, unlike the PUBG Xbox.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I played Fortnite a ton on PS4, and it's solid for sure. So. Yeah, Xbox, man, on PUBG, that was bad. Not bad. I mean, it was playable by the time I got around to playing it, but it is
so
rough.
bad that it's hard to shoot people.
Yeah,
you don't want the game about shooting people to be to a point where you can't shoot people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, PC is undoubtedly the I mean, I would say the same for Fortnite is the optimal way to play most games, but especially these battle royale shooters, I would recommend it on, at least for PUBG, especially on PC. But Fortnite, I mean, I played it a ton on PS4 and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But hey, the Xbox One PUBG is still growing. I think it's like 4 million players or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a surprise. I mean, people really want to give that game a shot when it comes to their system. So, I mean, obviously, it's only a matter of time till it makes it to PS4, I assume. I mean, it'd really be a bad call if they stayed in bed with Microsoft exclusively. If they really want to grow the game, I mean, you got to come to the largest console player base on PlayStation 4, so it'd be foolish not to. And then we'll get the Switch version.
Yeah.
Anyway, we also found out this week that dreams do come true, gentlemen. The Spyro Trilogy Remaster is apparently happening. It's not officially announced, not even officially confirmed, but everyone's reporting on the heavy rumors and the details that have been floating around. So I'm going to share those with you now, and I'm excited about it. I'll say that much. This comes from Laura Dale of Kotaku. This is according to multiple sources familiar with the project. Activision is currently working on a Spyro the Dragon Trilogy remaster, which will be announced in March 2018 and released in Q3 2018. The Trilogy remaster will, much like the highly successful Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, feature new assets, lighting, animations, and cinematics, as well as a remastered soundtrack. It will also feature updates to the save feature, much like what occurred in the Crash remaster. The remaster will include Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. While this detail will not be part of the announcement in March, the game will be a one-year timed exclusive for PS4 before being ported to other systems in 2019. Apparently, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is tied to a similar one-year exclusivity window, so expect to see multiple ports of that in 2018. I'm excited about this. I assume it's true. I mean, everyone's been predicting this for a while based off the success of Crash. Why would they not do Spyro? And I realize I've even heard this on other people talking about this in podcasts, that Spyro isn't necessarily as popular as Crash Bandicoot, but there is that core audience that has a lot of nostalgia for it, me being one of them, especially with Spyro the Dragon, the first one, and Year of the Dragon. I only played the first and third, but I played mostly the first one, and I told you I just have vivid memories of waking up on a summer day morning. Don't have school, but I just play Spyro for like 3 hours straight in the morning. Then I go to the pool all day with my family, and then I come back and play more Spyro. It was like a summer of 2 weeks of me playing Spyro every morning like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a cool announcement. Will I play it? Maybe. It just depends. I mean, I'm guessing this is gonna. When did you say it was supposedly going to come out?
Q3 of this year.
Q3? Mm-hmm. That's a busy time.
Yeah, so fall, so good luck. But I'm definitely going to play it. I mean, it's more than likely coming, and I just have, like I said, vivid memories of collecting dragon eggs around the world. And specifically, there's a skateboard section where you skateboard in this area and collect eggs. So it may not even be that good to me anymore. I may play and be like, man, this game has a lot of dumb issues. It may look beautiful, it may sound great, but I mean, it's still at the same time, it's a very dated game in that sense. But we'll see if I enjoy it as much as I did as a kid. I'm just excited to have that nostalgia come back to fruition.
Yeah.
So
I'm definitely glad they're bringing back a lot of classics.
Yeah. How do you feel about this, Preston?
I don't care.
I figured you probably did.
I have no nostalgia for Spyro. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I rented one of them back in the day on PS1, and I don't really think it tickled my fancy even back then. So I mean, I might be interested just to, if it's, you know, received well. I mean, I had no nostalgia for Crash Bandicoot, and I picked up the Insane Trilogy and went on to platinum the first game. Almost broke everything in my house doing so, but I still had a fun time, you know, doing it. Yeah. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, didn't you? Speaking of breaking things, didn't you like punch a hole in your door playing Sea of Thieves last night?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got in a pirate fight, and these pirates kind of, maybe they were cheating, maybe they were from China, but they killed us much quicker than they should have.
Yeah, so. It was so late, and I was just irritated for some reason. Lost my cool a little bit.
It happens to the best of us. I still smack things from time to time myself.
No, I mean I don't do that. I don't know why I did that. It was dumb. But especially in Sea of Thieves beta, why that bothered me at all, I have no clue. I'm gonna.
Well, you didn't deserve to kill us. That's why. I'm
gonna blame it on the. It was like 2 or 3 a.m. and I was just tired and irritated. So
I'll feel you completely. Did you see the trailer for the Evil Within FPS mode that's coming for free?
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm ever gonna play through that game, but that's
Evil
a pretty cool update.
2 is very good. I like it a lot. But if you're going to play a game like that, I think you need to play Resident Evil 4, having never played it.
Yeah. I will play that at some point, if not sooner rather than later. I got to choose what I want to play single player wise. Leading up to God of War, it's probably going to be Kingdom Come, because I really want to get back into that, and that'll probably occupy my time until God of War.
That's fine.
Presumably. So, yeah. But I will definitely get to Resident Evil and Assassin's Creed in time. Probably this summer, depending on what comes out, because I don't think there's a whole lot planned. So, unless Spider-Man drops out of nowhere in the summer, we'll see.
No, we're not gonna get a. I'm getting concerned about Spider-Man because I think with a franchise that big, they were going to want to promote the crap out of the release date. So. Oh
yeah, especially. I mean, we'll know about that release date at least 6 months in advance. I would assume, or at least 3 months. You think they do more, especially like you said.
If it's coming out this year and we don't get a release date until E3, I mean. It very well could come out this holiday season, but like I said, I'm assuming with a franchise that big, there needs to be ample time to hype it up and really drive that release date into people's heads, have commercials and stuff. So
yeah, I was gonna say that's the kind of game trailer you'll see all over TV as well.
The closer we get to E3, the more I'm going to think it's going to be 2019.
Yeah, probably. So, we'll see. I mean, they still claim 2018. It could come out at the very end for all we know.
I mean, I'm just talking out my ass. I hope just if they unveil it. That's the thing. I don't want to see it at E3 again. I just want them to have one more trailer that shows maybe a little bit more gameplay, maybe just a little more story stuff, and then a release date. I don't want a whole nother E3 spiel, or maybe that's what they show at E3 and
reveal the date.
It's actually coming out this year, which I'd be fine with both. I don't care regardless, but it is worrying me a little bit. My gut's telling me to not be surprised, if it's 2019. So
I think they're going to want to do one more demo because they've claimed to have made a ton of updates since the last one.
No, that's true. It did have criticism with the QTEs and the swinging speed and stuff. So maybe they do want to kind of reveal. I get the feeling
they're going to want to demo. I mean, there'll probably be a story bit to it for another cutscene of some sort, but I think they're going to do some sort of open world aspect where like, these are some of the things you can do in the open world, and like swing around, show the updates to the swinging and the combat where you can just get in and out of encounters without doing quick time events and everything.
I could see that.
They're really going to want to push that hard, and then they'll probably end with some cool cutscene or something.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong before.
I want that game.
Again, that's got to be at E3. Showing a demo.
Should be. We'll see. That's only a little less than 4 months out now. So exciting. Jacob, what can you tell us about Overwatch Contenders? I read about it, but I was a little confused. This is like the B League, like the D League of
pretty much, yeah. It's like the minor
Overwatch
leagues.
League. Okay.
If you're thinking about baseball, it's like when the Overwatch League was in season 0, it was Contenders, which is just their teams. It's kind of like regular esports where teams, like different organizations, have teams and they put them together and they compete in tournaments.
Yeah,
that's what this is, but it's basically just a league or a group of people that play Overwatch, that the Overwatch League teams, the what are there, 12 teams, where they can actually like pick from these teams and like recruit from them to make their teams better, the actual pro teams. That's basically what it is. It's just like a little minor league.
So can some of these players...
And it has its own branding and whatnot.
Can some of these players be drafted into the main Overwatch League if they're good enough?
I don't know if there's drafting.
Okay.
There might be. I don't know.
How cool would that be?
It would be kind of cool. I don't think there's drafting, though. I think you just kind of pick up contracts or sign contracts.
Like, how cool? I mean...
But here's the thing. Like, some of the like Overwatch League teams have Contenders teams as well. So they like actually have people that they're trying to bring up through a system. It's kind of like it's like baseball. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That's so cool. I think it'd be awesome if there's an annual Overwatch League draft. Kind of like an NFL draft and everything. How cool would that be?
I don't think there's a draft, but I might be wrong.
Because I know that the contract's got to be semi-lengthy because the Overwatch League teams can only be so big. It isn't like you have 20 players on your team and pay all of them to be there. So
right, yeah. I mean, it's a cool idea. I think they're going to be streaming the Contenders League. I don't know if I'll really watch it because who wants to watch the minor leaguers?
Yeah. Some people enjoy it.
Yeah, some people just can't get enough of Overwatch. But I think the season 2 of Overwatch League starts this week when this is airing. So that's what I'll be watching this week.
Nice. I've only watched about 30 seconds of one Overwatch League match.
It's not for everyone.
And it isn't that I don't enjoy it. It's just
don't have enough time.
Constantly going and I'm always doing something. But I am fascinated by all of it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've mentioned this to Preston, but every time I'm playing a video game, I have twitch.tv opened up. I mean, like there's a stream playing in the background. I might not be watching it all the time, but there's always some noise in the background in my room.
Interesting.
Yeah. I love streaming.
I can just see the panel of Overwatch. I don't know what you call them. Not announcers, commentators.
Yeah.
Like post matches, but like these are the players you need to keep an eye on from Contenders. And like if so and so from Team Fusion stays healthy, like I think he could have a real shot at being drafted by the LA Valiants.
Injuries this season.
Yeah, as long as he keeps that trigger finger healthy, he'll be just fine.
Hey, they don't use controllers.
Yeah, I mean he uses the mouse.
Mouse presser.
It's still a trigger finger. I mean, you're not pressing a trigger, pulling a trigger in the game. That's what I mean.
Some characters are, yeah.
Let's see. This has no relevance to anything we're talking about, but this is very exciting for movie fans and specifically Star Wars fans.
Okay.
It says that the Star Wars Episode 9 art director is going to be the same art director from Blade Runner 2049.
That's pretty neat.
This comes from IGN. It says Star Wars Episode 9 has reportedly enlisted the help of Blade Runner 2049 art director Paul Inglis. Omega Underground reports Inglis joins the next mainline Star Wars film as supervising art director and will work alongside director J.J. Abrams, who returns to the franchise after helming 2015's The Force Awakens. Along with working on last year's critically acclaimed Blade Runner sequel, Inglis also has credits in the first season of Game of Thrones, Skyfall, Children of Men, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, and Prometheus. Preston, have you ever seen, or did you ever see Blade Runner 2049?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I mean that's I think it's an awesome movie. I loved it, but specifically the visual effects and the art direction is just gorgeous in that movie. That's
my favorite movie last year.
Visual effects wise, that is one of the very best looking movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Even cinematography plays a role in that as well. But those are some of the best modern visual effects I've seen, and they're even amplified when you go see Black Panther, and that's some of the worst visual effects I've seen in modern day. They're awful. I meant to tell you guys I've seen Black Panther for the sake of the podcast, and I've already told you guys this. I think there are awesome elements to it. I think the story is pretty solid. I think all the performances are cool, and the action moments, which are very brief and few and far between. I think one specifically that takes place in a casino and translates into a car chase. I think it's in Korea, maybe. No, maybe it's not in Korea. I can't remember where it is. Maybe it's in Korea in the movie, but that action set piece is pretty awesome. But aside from that, the action's pretty forgettable. The final action set piece visually is just awful. I'm like, this is amazing how bad it looks. It's like completely a cartoon and not in a good way. And I've noticed it a trend in not only Marvel movies recently, but Disney movies as a whole. Their visual effects are sucking. And it's so weird because they use ILM, and ILM's incredible at what they do. But I don't know if they're rushing the Marvel movies, if they've just settled on our comic book movies are going to look a little cartoony. I don't know why they would do that. But even like I said, here's a few examples that I'll reiterate on before I talk about Black Panther. Belle in Beauty and the Beast running up a cliff where her town is in the background is the most green screen looking thing I've seen in a Disney movie recently that I noticed. I'm like, why on earth did they not just go to a grassy hill? I know it's probably a struggle to drag an entire film crew up a hill and like, all right, just to film this little scene, we're going to drag them up there. But it's worth it in the long run because you always go back to the phrase. It is.
Are a lot of people complaining about that scene?
I think that if you have an eye for just film at all, you notice those things, and it's going to bother you.
I guess my argument is, do a lot of people have an eye for film?
I don't think so, because I think they think this movie's so mainstream, everyone's going to go see it anyway. Who cares? But when you dial it back, I mean, people who appreciate film is probably who it bothers like myself. Because if you think about it, you always go back to the phrase "film is forever." That will forever look like crap, and it's because they didn't choose to shoot it on a hill. I think it's worth the struggle of dragging a film crew up to a grassy hill and shooting the scene. Personally, I know sometimes there isn't always a budget for that, but we're talking about Disney here. There's no excuse if you ask me. I mean, they're a literal empire. So that bothered me. And then you go see Thor Ragnarok, and there's a scene similar. They're on a grassy cliff, and him and Loki, it is so bad. It looks so awful, just how green screeny it looks. Now, most of the movie looks pretty good, but that specifically, I'm like, this is a joke. It looks so bad. And even in Black Panther, man, some of the visual effects just look so fake. And it just bothers me. It looks like Star Wars prequel's bad. That's how bad it looks.
Yikes.
So I'm like, I don't understand why they're being so lazy. With these mainstream, huge, successful movies, I don't know if they're in the mindset, we're going to make money anyway, who cares? But that's a critical thing people have been criticizing about Black Panther, especially as the visual effects are really weak. So I don't know what the deal is, man. It's really bothering me. But that's why I'm excited, because Star Wars more or less looks very good. There's a few moments in like I mentioned in Last Jedi, where Rey's on the cliff with Luke. I mean, that looks awful. Like, why? Just go to a cliff and do it. You're on an island anyway.
Weren't they there?
Yeah, just choose a spot in the island that you can actually shoot a scene like that. It's so annoying. But that's why I'm excited for this art director to join J.J. Abrams on Episode 9, because not only did Blade Runner look amazing, but if they can somehow have Disney take these critical notes to heart and actually put more effort into their visual effects. And Star Wars thankfully looks pretty great already, but this guy coming in, I think, is an awesome step in the right direction. If it can look even half as decent as Blade Runner, I'll be happy about it.
You think JJ can make a good 9th movie?
We'll see, man. He's not much of a sequel guy. He's a reboot guy. Like, he rebooted Star Trek, and it was great. Now, the sequel wasn't very good, but the initial movie was awesome.
He directed the sequel?
He directed both just the Star Trek reboot, and then Into Darkness. He directed that as well. Now, Force Awakens, I like. Last Jedi, I don't like as much.
I'm still waiting to be impressed by the new Star Wars movies.
I know. Isn't that so sad? It's like, there are great moments in both Force Awakens and Last Jedi, but as a whole, I'm like, something's lacking for me. I think I know what it is. It's just all the things we've complained about, but like, something's missing big time.
It's just probably this expectation running too high for me.
Maybe. I don't know. But we won't go on too much of a tangent, but that's exciting news for me as a film goer and as a lover of Star Wars, and maybe even a Blade Runner. So that's going to be cool. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So speaking of Disney, let's talk about the Incredibles 2 Olympic sneak peek trailer. Have you seen it, Jacob?
I did see it.
Preston, have you seen the trailer?
I have.
Okay. Now, are you guys as big of Incredibles fans as I am?
Yes.
No. I like Incredibles, but it's not at the top of my Pixar favorites or anything.
Okay,
it's probably at the top of mine.
It's nearing the top of mine. I think
either that or Toy Story.
Yeah, it's like Toy Story and then Incredibles for me.
No, my wife loves the Incredibles, so yeah, we actually saw that commercial on TV the other night, and she's very excited.
Yeah, I think the Incredibles is easily one of Pixar's best, and not only from a storytelling standpoint, but just the way it looks and the characters and everything are so good. Mm-hmm. And I really want to rewatch it again. I'll probably rewatch it shortly before the movie releases.
I'd like to watch that with you.
I think it'd be great. I know Casey's a big fan too. And I remember I told you a few years ago.
Oh, we got to bring her into this.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we'll leave her out of this one. But I had watched it with Casey a few years ago for the first time in a long time. And I was like, I forgot just how great this movie is. Mm-hmm. And this is my only concern about the sneak peek is that the trailer as far as animation is concerned, it looks gorgeous, dude. I mean, Pixar only continues to improve with animation and textures and lighting. And I don't know entirely what I'm talking about with visual effects, but I understand it just enough to realize just how much effort goes into it, especially with Casey pursuing a visual effects career. And just watching her do the simplest things on the software that they use, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why would anyone put themselves through this? It's insane. So the animation is just breathtaking. It looks outstanding. I'm only concerned about the story because the story... Now, I know Pixar's pretty good at hiding things, but recently Pixar's been very formulaic, especially with Good Dinosaur, which I don't think anyone was really impressed by at all. And Coco's awesome, but it's still not anything groundbreaking in terms of storytelling. Again, its strengths were in the visual effects, and then the characters and the music was great too. But storytelling was pretty by the numbers. So Incredibles, the trailer looks like just Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible are switching places for the sequel. It's like, oh, I'm the sleazy businessman. We're going to bring supers back into the mainstream. And Mrs. Incredible is going to be my scapegoat. And we're going to throw you out there and we're going to make you all popular. People are going to love you. Clearly, this guy has a secret agenda of some sort. Yeah. But it just looks like she's playing the role of Mr. Incredible, and now he's back at the house dealing with the kids.
See, I think that's kind of compelling though, because he's this huge guy, you know, like he's a superhero.
Right. But this is my problem with it.
And now he's just playing the dad role, and he's horrible.
The whole first movie was about the family coming together and working as a team, and when that finally happens, it's so awesome in the movie. And then even at the very end, I'm the Underminer, and we're like, holy shit, this is gonna be awesome. And it cuts off. I'm like, that is the perfect cliffhanger ending. We wait a decade, dude. I think almost over a decade at this point. Yeah, way over a decade. It's been like 13 years or something. It's crazy. But you see in the trailer, you get to see that battle at the beginning. I think they said it picks up immediately where the first one leaves off, which I think is awesome. So we're going to see that battle. But then they just revert to, all right, kids, you're going back to school. Mr. Incredible's going to stay home and take care of you and tutor you. And mom's going to go fight crime. It's like, why?
Well, it seems like time passes and then the heroes come back because it seems like they go away.
Yeah, because they were like outlawed or whatever in the first movie, and now they're trying to bring them back because we have to think of it in the mindset this takes place immediately after the first one. So technically, they're kind of still in that same boat. So it seems like the success of the Incredibles in the first movie, they're like, all right, this is our real chance to show people these supers can really be something special. And they're using Mrs. Incredibles that. Now, there may be an awesome twist that we're not seeing, where they all come back together and fight at the end.
Well, they're all going to come. You would hope they would all come back at least.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend 3/4 of the movie of them rehashing the first movie. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the same writer of the first movie, so I don't know where he's going with this. Again, I'm not going to judge the movie till I see it.
Yeah, I have faith that he's not going to do the same thing again.
I hope that's the case because right now it's looking that way.
Yeah.
But I will say
maybe he's just setting it up to seem that way. I don't know why he would do that, but
yeah, no, I don't. That's my only concern. I'm still very, very excited to see it, but it just looks very similar to the first movie to me. Like I'd almost love the family to go on like a big mission together throughout the whole movie or something. I don't know.
But what about their education, Gary? You can't just take you can't just go do secret missions.
And as much as I love the kids, part of me also would have liked to have seen a time jump as well. Like they're all grown up. Maybe the superheroes are coming back and maybe something else crazy happens. I don't know.
Like Mr. Incredible on the deathbed.
Dash is sort of like a Nightwing type character where clearly he's inspired by the Flash, but he's kind of out on his own, grown up or something. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm just going on a tangent now, but I'm a little concerned about the direction of the story that is yet to be revealed. Again, not passing judgment on it yet. I'm just concerned.
I'm excited for it.
I'm still excited. Very, very excited, but we'll see. Gentlemen, that brings us to community questions.
Yay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued support of the show by submitting your questions week in and week out to continue the conversation of every single podcast, making them very interesting, very diverse, very random. We never know what we're going to get. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
If you'd like to have your questions read on this show or our additional show, Ask IOG, which may never happen again. Someone's calling again. Please stop. They probably think my mother hates them because I keep declining all their calls, whoever it is. But if you'd like your questions read on this show, you can reach us in one of three places. You can email us at itsobviousgaming@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at obvious_gaming or submit your questions in the Ask IOG section of our Discord channel. Now, all that information is found in the description of every single YouTube video, every iTunes podcast, every Spotify podcast. Wherever we exist, those links can be found. You can submit your questions in those places. And we encourage you to do so because we love collecting them. And like I said, we still have plenty of Ask IOG questions on reserve. So whether it's game related or something random, never hesitate to send us questions because they will be answered at one point or another. And we're excited about it.
I sent 2 people our Discord link this week.
Did you?
Yep. One person at work and then another family member.
That's cool.
Yep.
Nice, a family member.
So we got at least 2 more members in the Discord this week.
Excellent. That's cool.
Just
Gentlemen,
thought you should know.
question number 1 comes from Matthew Durkin. I am so stuffy, man. I have got to go to the ENT. My nose is reverting back to death, dude.
It sucks.
I can't breathe through my nose anymore. Matthew Durkin says, Yo-ha, sexy sillies.
What? Yo-ha?
Whoa.
Yo-ha, sexy sillies.
Oh, yo-ha.
Yo-ha. Maybe that's how he's trying to say it. I don't know.
No, it's from the Metal Gear Solid theme song.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And do it for me. How does it go? Because it sounds familiar.
It's like the
That's what it is. Yeah. I really like that theme.
I don't think that's what it is, but
It could be.
I liked the tie-in.
Thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Matthew. He says, I've been thinking of getting a PS4 for a good time now. This is not I'm poor. Thing is, I'm not poor. I just hate spending large amounts of money. I feel
I'm
guilty.
with you, brother.
Yeah, I feel guilty after buying my Xbox One for like a week. Then felt guilty again when I realized it was
you
only.
should've.
He says, then I felt guilty again when I realized it was only a third-party machine. Hush now, Microsoft minions. It's like we know Gears is mediocre now, and Halo. Well, let's not get into that bag of worms.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, do y'all have experience or know anybody who has ever bought games/systems? Though, dun dun dun, Craigslist. It's cheap and risky, just like how I like my men. But damn, those prices, cheap and risky. But damn those prices. What do y'all think? Respect, cheese.
I've never used Craigslist to buy anything.
Neither have I. I know the Bynums have a few times. I'm like, you're some bold individuals, man, going to Craigslist deals.
Yeah,
How about you, Preston?
My wife used to buy from Craigslist all the time.
Man, that's so weird, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be smart about
Transparent.
it. I think it's not a big deal if you meet in a public location or anything.
Let's meet
and
at the
it's-
local Wendy's.
Yeah, I mean, I think the
Or the
police
Wally
actually
World.
encourage that to meet in their parking lot or whatever to do that. So as long as you're safe about Craigslist, then sure. My biggest thing, I would be worried about buying a electronic
Broken one.
because you're if you meet at a mall or parking lot or something, where are you going to try it? What if it doesn't work? Are they going
Right,
to
like where can we test this out so it doesn't work? Dude, just come to my house at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's the only time I'm home. We'll just take care of it there.
Perfect.
I mean, Slims aren't too bad. There's bundles for like $250 that come with a game. I mean, I think $250 for a PS4, especially with the extensive list of exclusives and future exclusives that it's going to have, I think is a completely perfectly fair price.
Excuse me, Preston, you're fanboy. Sure.
Sorry, man. Man, maybe you should just trade in your Xbox too. I mean,
There you go. That's the best idea you've had all
But
day.
how are you going to play Gears 5 and Halo 6?
I don't know. I don't.
And,
It seems like he
Crackdown.
doesn't. That's the thing, though. He just said he doesn't like Halo because he doesn't want to open that bag of words. He said he's not up on Gears
I
of
know.
War right now. So like, why do you have an Xbox? Just trade it in for a PlayStation. So I think that's what I
Preston's laying down
would
the truth.
recommend doing, anyways.
Or just keep it as a footstool. It does the job quite well.
Dude, I can't
Well,
tell you how many
yeah.
times my feet have been rested on that footstool, and it's brought me much joy and relaxation.
Yeah. So wait for us, man. Maybe there's a Spider-Man PlayStation bundle with the massive logo on top of it or something that you
Oh,
can.
that would be
you can
so
hold out
awesome.
For.
Dude, you know they're going to do that. Imagine like a red PlayStation.
No, Sony usually
with the
has
blue
shitty-
lights when it lights up, but there's a big white spider in the top. That'd be amazing.
Sony never has good consoles. You know,
What do you mean?
like they never make good
Man,
collector's
that
editions.
Monster Hunter one. That one was.
I remember
gorgeous.
seeing a really cool Metal Gear Solid 5 one. It was like
Yeah.
that crimson
It
red.
was like they
symbol
don't-
on it.
It was like Japan.
don't sell
All the
any of
cool
them
ones
to
are like
US.
Japan only. For
Like
the
we
most
get the
part.
Call of Duty
Then we got
World War
the
II with the
Batman one too.
camo.
We got like the Batman Arkham Knight
Yeah, the
silver
Batman one
one.
was fine.
This is weird about me though. I can never buy a console that's designed to like advertise a single game. It like makes me feel weird. Like I have the Metal Gear Solid 5 PlayStation. It looks cool, but you know it's Metal Gear Solid 5. It's like a Metal Gear Solid 5 machine. Like the Batman one bothers me the most. There's like this big ass Batman on your
That's
PlayStation.
shocking to me because you love Batman. Wouldn't
I
you
do, but I don't
like,
want
a
to
Batman
brand him
console?
on a machine that I play multiple games on. I know
Why not?
I know it doesn't matter. It just
Yeah.
bothers me for some
No,
reason.
I understand. I would like the Spider-Man one just to have though. If acting like it's a real thing, I would like a Spider-Man PlayStation just to have.
I meant to tell you guys that I'm being sent from COD Connected like a $180 Final Fantasy Insidia NT, whatever it's called, collector's edition to do an unboxing video.
Oh,
I know
wow.
nothing about the game.
fighting game.
That's
Yeah.
cool. What do you know what it is?
I did a video that had to do with some of it. I just have to refresh my
keeping
memory.
it?
Yeah, I mean, you can have it if you want when I'm done with it.
I mean, it depends on what the statue is.
Apparently, it's really badass.
Who is it?
Apparently, I don't know who it is, but
If it's
apparently
like
it's really cool.
characters I know, like of Noctis or
Is it Sephiroth?
any Sephiroth
I don't
or
know
Cloud
if
or
it is.
anything.
I think it's
heck yeah, dude.
I think it's a classic Final Fantasy character. I don't know who it is. I can look at the list. I can't remember what's on there. It's supposed to be here soon. I got to do a video.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean,
you can take it home with you if you want.
Sure, I'll gladly
Add to your
take it.
collection.
Yeah. Oh, dude, speaking of collector's editions, I told you this, but I guess I'll tell Jacob or anybody else who cares. But Square Enix was selling the Deus Ex collector's edition for $20 on their website, so I went ahead and bought it. So I'm gonna get
That's great.
like a 9-inch statue of Adam Jensen to add to my collection.
I'm trying to think of an Adam Jensen quote I was using a lot when we played Mankind Divided.
Quote?
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have a quote.
I
could
don't
have
even
sworn
know.
there's
I
something
played
he
that
says
game
over and over
like
and over again.
20 times. I can't remember anything.
Great game. I'd totally play that again on PC.
Yeah, I kind of want to play it again right now.
I can't blame you, Preston. How many times have you beaten that game now? Like 8?
At least 6 times.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So this statue looks stupid.
The Insidious
Like it's half a body.
What?
Is that the statue?
Is that the game? Dissidia?
Yeah, Dissidia NT. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's the addition.
It's the torso and up of a.
It does.
character.
That is some cool looking armor, though. I mean, that's a bizarre statue, but the statue looks cool at least. I mean, the torso up looks cool.
That's all there is.
Preston, you could hide him behind something and just make it look like the rest of his body is hiding.
Cool. I would take that.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll you can take it home with you.
I think that's like the Warrior of Light. Yep, the Warrior of Light. Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh, of course, the Warrior of Light.
That's the sad thing about this unboxing. I have to do so much research, so I just can lightly comment on what it is.
Is the Warrior of Light like a famous Final Fantasy character?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
It's like when I booted up Final Fantasy 14, there was like Warrior of Light armor that you could equip. I think he's from the first game. I think so. But he's like
effing Final Fantasy, dude. I swear.
Dude, March 7th, Windows Edition, bro.
Hey, you can play the Pocket Edition of Final Fantasy 15.
You're right.
Supposedly, it's not that bad. It's the same game, just
the cute little
kind of hampered down for an iPhone.
I kid, I exaggerate my distaste for Final Fantasy 15. It's a great game. I just, it's not my favorite experience I've ever played. More of a Kingdom Hearts.
It's pretty
myself.
good, though.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Second question. Ren says, we haven't heard from Ren in a while. He says, hey guys.
Hi.
Not sure if it's been answered before, but what are your favorite tabletop games?
Monopoly.
You're lame, Jacob.
Monopoly's great.
Yeah, Monopoly's pretty good. I haven't played it since high school.
Battleship?
You sunk my battleship!
Battleship's
Can you
fun.
name that movie?
Battleship?
No. Oh, yeah. That's a good guess.
I forgot they made that.
Yeah, close too. It's Jim Carrey and Batman Forever.
Oh, no. I knew that was a Jim Carrey impression.
Yeah.
I like Clue.
Favorite tabletop. Clue's pretty cool.
Clue's fun.
I like. I think I've always thought Sorry is kind of fun.
Do any of us play board games?
Ooh! I know mine.
No.
This is without a doubt my favorite. Uno Attack. Uno Attack is awesome.
Is this a card game or
it's a card game?
No, is
where
he
you
talking like tabletop games, like Dungeons and Dragons?
I know it's not traditionally a tabletop game with like. He could be talking about Dungeons and Dragons, which I've never played, but
we don't really play anything like that, unfortunately.
No. We're thinking of like all the mainstream, like Candyland.
Yeah, we play all these family games, Cards of Humanity is
Cards
fun.
Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Apples to Apples is fun too.
Yeah, that was fun.
Cards is better.
Yeah, I agree. It is.
I like Balderdash.
What's that?
It's a game where you write like fake definitions for something, and you have to guess which one's real.
That sounds great.
So it's a game about lying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. I guess so is Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Is it though?
What's another one that I was thinking of? Oh yeah, Hearthstone. I'm a big fan of Hearthstone. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards.
Yeah, dude.
Yu-Gi-Oh's fun.
You know what I was always fascinated by in malls that I don't even think really exist anymore? Passing by those tabletop stores where it's like an actual battleground, like miniature model created, and people had little characters that are moving around like an actual battlefield. I always thought that looked so cool. Never even dipped my head in. I just saw it from afar and thought it looked interesting. So I guess I'd say that's some of our favorite tabletop games. Is that it, boys?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. Well, Bojangles, Bohongales, Mr. Kyle. He's back again. He says, "Sup, you magnanimous men?"
Whoa.
I'm not familiar with that word. I'll have to look it up. With the horrible plague of Hollywood adaptions of anime in our world, how would you go about creating an actually decent adaptation, and what property would you use? Also, the main character's actor, lead director, and any cast you would like to have that you believe fully resemble the show in your mind. And you guys see the live action trailer for Full Metal Alchemist?
I did.
Man, that looks awful. I haven't even seen Full Metal Alchemist yet, and that live action looks pretty bad. Of course, then again, to major fans, it may look awesome. Maybe I'm just very ignorant and don't know any better.
I didn't think it looked awful, but
I thought the lead character looked so goofy with that wig on.
That's a show I've always wanted to watch, but I don't know. It seems like a mammoth in terms of a show.
Yeah, aren't there like multiple versions of it too?
Yeah. I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah, same. What would you guys want to adapt? We've already seen Attack on Titan adapted. I think Death Note was adapted. Sucked. No, Full Metal Alchemist. I know there's been others. I know Erased. I heard Erased is actually pretty good. I heard they altered the ending a bit. And for people who haven't seen the animation, obviously the animation's probably the better version. But I heard the live action's pretty solid.
I don't even know how to answer this question.
Man, I loved Erased. What a journey that was. I also love Death Note, man. I really enjoy both of those. I know they're very mainstream at this point, but I really like those a lot. It's
like all the animes I like have either had live action adaptations or they're just so anime-y that they would never, ever work live action. Like I would say Attack on Titan, but it was already made. I'd like to see it made well in live action, I guess. I think the main thing is it needs to, I guess, actually stick to the source material. I've never seen the live action Attack on Titan, but apparently they gave like Mikasa as like a love interest and stuff. Like they just did all this so dumb stuff to it. And the CGI is awful.
Here's one that'll get Kyle excited. What about a Sword Art Online live action adaptation?
It's happening.
Is it happening already?
Yeah, they're making a TV series of it, and I'm horrified.
I was going to say, that has some real potential. I've yet to be impressed by really any live-action anime adaptation, but if done right, I feel like that could be really cool.
I know it's going to be awful, so I'm not even getting my hopes up.
Dude, I'm waiting for that Overwatch live action.
Man, everyone's dying for an Overwatch film or miniseries of some sort. Even with that Blizzard animation, why aren't they making fully animated movies? Why that? If they want to make more money, make their animated movies, dude. I mean, their animations look as good as Pixar, if not better.
I'm still surprised they don't have like a separate, just company within their walls
working on films.
Yeah. just doing either short stories or actual films.
I mean, Overwatch is already a monumental success. Why not expand upon that even further, dive into films or mini episodes, like 15-minute Overwatch episodes or something? I don't know.
It's like they crank out maybe 3 or 4.
I mean, obviously they're aware of how good they are. I mean, they've definitely had that conversation. I mean, why would they not have that conversation? The question is, why have they not acted on it yet?
I think there's a reason. I mean,
what do you know the reason?
Yeah, what are the reasons, Preston?
No, I mean, there has to be a reason. If they,
I mean that much is true.
I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe it's just. I'm sure it's a lot of money to make something as big as that, and maybe they don't know if they can actually get a return of the profits making that.
I mean,
that
I
has
get
to
that
be
completely.
an issue, probably.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the main factor. It's always budget. So, yeah, we'll keep our hopes up for that though. But let's think of a live action series we've seen. Let's talk about My Hero. I'm in the midst of that. Preston, have you finished it, didn't you?
I'm on like the last episode.
Okay, Jacob, did you finish
it? Yeah.
Jacob finished it. So you guys are pretty well versed in that. I'm still pretty new to it. Again, I'm only like roughly halfway through it, I think. Mm-hmm. So maybe let's cast 2 or 3 characters from that show just to have this conversation. Direction wise, I think we need obviously an action-packed director who's great at directing action. Maybe
Michael Bay.
Right. I'm thinking Tim Miller from Deadpool 1 could do it.
Okay.
You know why I say that? Is because he already has that video company. What are they called again? I already forgot the name. Casey actually is interested in potentially interning for them in the future. I can't remember what they're called. Excellent animation company though. They do all the trailers for like the Arkham games and whatnot. Specifically, the one that stands out is the Deadpool Batman fight from Arkham Origins. His company did that. I think he owns that company. Deathstroke. Sorry, what did I call him? Deadpool. Yeah, sorry. Well, he directed Deadpool, and he used his same animation company to do the visual effects for that movie. That movie looks awesome. The action's great. I think he could direct a My Hero Academy live action series or movie for that matter. Who would play? What's his name? Deku or
Deku. Yeah, you really watch the show, don't you?
My Deku means I can do it. I haven't watched it in several weeks. I actually forgot that I was watching it, if I'm being honest.
Oh, wow.
I'm having the same problem that you said where everyone's like, oh, once you get into it, it's kind of slow at first. You're not so sure about it. I'm right at the cusp, I think, where when I get back into it, it's going to hook me. I really enjoy it, but I forgot I was watching it, so I forgot a lot about it.
Yeah, just keep going. Once you get at the end of the first season, second season, it really gets really, really good.
Yeah, I'm excited to continue. I think when I wrap up Altered Carbon, which shout out to that show. I know a lot of people are talking about that show. I was excited when I saw that trailer. I won't go on a tangent, don't worry. But the first 3 episodes, I'm like, man, I'm kind of interested in the characters. I think the world is cool. It's very much a cross between, it's basically Blade Runner is what it is. Total ripoff of Blade Runner, but apparently Altered Carbon's a book or a book series. So it kind of stands on its own in that sense. But very cool concept of the show, how everyone basically has eternal life because they all have these things called stacks where their consciousness and all their memories are all stored in this little chip that goes into the back of the neck of these things called sleeves, which are human bodies. That can be upgraded, that can be swapped out. If a human body dies, they just remove the stack and stick it in a new one if you can afford it. Very interesting politics and the way the world functions with that concept going on. The first 3 episodes, I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. But by the end of episode 4, I'm like, this show is awesome. So check out Altered Carbon on Netflix if you haven't already. If you're interested in that kind of dystopian, futuristic city, kind of how Blade Runner is, I think you could enjoy it.
Okay.
Anyway, why did I bring that up? Oh, yeah. After I finish that, I'm going to go back to My Hero. Anyway, let's cast Deku first.
I need to leave very soon, by the way.
Okay.
So
This is the problem, though. I don't really know any Asian actors by name.
Why do they have to be Asian?
I don't know. They don't have to be. I'm saying that I know people would appreciate if they were Asian, but I don't know if I could think of any off the top of my head by name, unfortunately. I think the actress from...
What if we threw in Jackie Chan?
Yeah.
As Deku. Give him a little green hair.
Jackie Chan will be All Might.
Oh, God.
I think the actress from X-Men Origins, the Wolverine where he's in Japan, the girl who has the samurai sword.
Okay.
She's been in a bunch of stuff. I think she could be a really cool actress as, what's...
the chick's name?
What's her name that Deku has a crush on? Basically, everyone has a crush on. She has the... levitation ability. What's it called?
That's crap. It's like Araraka, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, I've never known her name, honestly.
I know her name.
Sorry,
I'm just
that's what
having
it's called.
Brain. It's not. She has 0 gravity. She can touch things, and
yeah, that's the problem. That she doesn't look young. If there's gonna be like high school level looking students, then I don't know.
A black hole.
Now, I finally figured out who that purple guy was with the balls he throws. So funny, dude.
He's the best character.
It's amazing. We need to cast that guy.
You guys are perv.
Yeah, he is. We could cast him as like Mini-Me or something. The guy.
Dude, there's a part in that where he finds a hole in the changing room to the girls' locker room, and it is so freaking hilarious. That's funny. Uraraka. That's her last name. Uraraka Ochako. That's her name.
I feel like you just got to double down with Schwarzenegger and have him play All Might.
Oh, All Might.
The Rock.
All Might.
Imagine The Rock playing All Might.
Give him a wig.
Yeah. That would be so ridiculous, but so good at this.
Can you imagine those eyebrows?
That's the thing, is The Rock has the charisma that All Might has.
Yeah, I think Rock is All Might for sure.
Could you imagine Rock
in that big wig? Oh my gosh, man!
But who would play the smaller version of All Might?
Oh, that's a good
Christian
question,
Bale
man.
from The Machinist.
I was about to say that, dude. That's exactly what it
He would go
reminds
to
me
the
of.
ends of the earth. He could play both roles. He would be completely
He
committed
would.
to get jacked
He
and then
would.
starve himself.
But what a stressful acting job that'd be.
Man. Yeah, he would totally do both roles. He's like, all right, we'll spend the first 6 months filming all the depowered All Might scenes, and then we'll give me another 6 months to jack back up, and then we'll shoot all the rest.
No, he'll go
God,
back.
man.
He's so dedicated. He'll go back and forth. They'll shoot like a 10-minute scene of him being jacked, and then like 6 months later, he'll starve himself to do the next scene.
Right.
He just wants to be so committed. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we found our All Might for sure.
for sure.
I think Tim Miller could direct it. I'm sure there's 1,000 directors that could do it. But I think Tim Miller sticks out in my mind for the action for that movie. So
Who would play what's his face? Bakugo.
Who's he?
He's the kid that's always angry at Deku.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a good
I feel
question.
like we need to get him before we move on.
You know who could play him? He doesn't really totally look the part, but I think the guy from what's his name? I already forgot his name. He was in Chronicle. He's the angry kid in Chronicle.
I didn't see Chronicle.
He's been in a ton of stuff since then, though. He was Harry Osborn in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that guy.
He has that.
he could
He has
be?
that angry, depressed state that I think he could do it. If he
Maybe.
bulked up a little bit, I think he could do it.
Maybe.
So he
Yeah,
doesn't
I
really
don't
look
know.
like the popular kid in school, though. He kind of looks like one of those loner type kids. So I think you need the face of that kid to look like he'd be popular because he's kind of popular in his class.
Yeah, I guess it's just because he has a cool quirk though.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Not because
cool.
everyone likes him.
You have like nitroglycerin
kind of a
sweat
dick.
or something. Is that what it is? Is that
Yeah.
how it works? It like explodes.
Yeah.
Maybe lights a flame to it.
Mhm.
You know what character I also love is the guy with the rocket legs. And he wears like the suit of armor.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
guy's great,
Mhm.
man. I love his
Lita.
passion.
Yep.
He's great. Let's cast him last and we'll move on.
Who?
I think the guy from Never Back Down. He was also in Yours, Mine, and Ours. He's like the brunette guy. He kind of looks like him. Give him a pair of glasses, he could do it.
Sure. I
I'm
don't know
so
what
bad
you're
at
talking about.
casting.
I'm really bad with names these days, so I couldn't really think of a name. But he's the face I see as that character. But yeah, I say that's pretty solid for an
Sure.
My Hero Academy live action TV show or movie. Moving on, Sadig says, Sadig, maybe? Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. He says, do any of you read manga or have read some? If so, what are your favorites?
Nope.
I used to read Dragon Ball Z manga.
Yeah, you got me into that a little bit. I tried reading through half of a Dragon Ball Z manga once, and that was it. Because it annoyed me that I'm reading it backwards. It's the weirdest thing. They read books backwards there.
Yeah, I used to get Shonen Jump, the big manga like collection, like collaboration from a comics shop near me a long time ago, and I would read some Yu-Gi-Oh, Naruto, some Dragon Ball was in that as well that I would read, and One Piece as well. But I would get them so sporadically that I would never follow the story, so it would just be a bunch of just one-off issues that I had no clue what was going on. But that's pretty much the extent of manga I've ever read.
I was always surprised by the language and graphic violence in the Dragon Ball manga compared to the TV show.
For sure.
Yeah, it was quite a surprise.
Yeah.
Other than that, when it has to do with manga, I always bought every year at the Scholastic Book Fair. I'd buy how to draw manga books.
Yeah.
I always thought those were a lot of fun to try and draw it. So I know me and Preston got into drawing Dragon Ball Z characters and Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff a lot in elementary school. But just a doodle when I was bored in class.
Yeah.
But yeah, the extent of manga was a little bit of Dragon Ball and those drawing books I would buy for me. Carlos Perez says, if you can have any monster from any movie, game, show, anywhere, what monster or monsters would you like to hunt down in the new Monster Hunter world? I already told you the Monstars from Space Jam would be like, I'd like to hunt them down.
I would like to
Maybe
to hunt
a Colossus crossover. You could fight a Colossus from Shadow of the Colossus.
I think it'd be cool to fight the Queen Xenomorph.
Oh, that'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
I loved fighting Predator and Ghost Recon. Maybe bring Predator over.
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Godzilla, yeah.
Somebody holding onto the back of the Predator. Like, I've mounted him.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe something from Pacific Rim.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like the Jaegers are the good guys.
Yeah.
They're called kaiju. That's what they're called, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're called. What about the Thing from the movie The Thing? Just morphs into all kinds of different grotesque monsters while you're fighting it.
Sure.
Different tactics each time it morphs. That'd be kind of cool.
Sully from Monsters Inc.
Yeah. Or Mike Wazowski for that matter.
Yeah. That'd be a good one.
I won't be surprised when it hits PC if there's all kinds of mods like that, like a monster has a Mike Wazowski skin and everything. It'd be so funny. That'd be great. There's a bunch of movie monsters I'm not thinking of right now. Maybe the giant space worm from I think it's Empire. Is it Empire Strikes Back? The space worm? Is that New Hope? That's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, if there was just like a giant snake, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
There's not really just a giant snake in the game.
Isn't there a giant snake in Aladdin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jafar.
Giant snake. Isn't Jafar morphs into it? Yeah. So you got the giant snake from that.
Sure.
Could fight an Elder Scrolls dragon.
You fight that snake in Kingdom Hearts, I think.
Do you?
Do you? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think you do. I don't know.
I don't know, bruh.
Actually, I don't think you do. You fight Jafar as a genie at one point, but yeah.
Cool. Any more monsters before we hit the last question from Mr. Sam Harris?
Let's hit it.
Cool. Sam Harris has a very relevant and important question that has been asked many times in the past, not to us directly, but many people have been asking this question for a while. He says, "Okay, my dudes, I'm about to vent a little bit, so bear with me. My question is, it's very simple. Why hasn't Ubisoft made an Assassin's Creed game that takes place in Japan? OMG, the idea is literally a gold mine that is being guarded by a deaf, blind, and mute old man. It's like taking candy from a baby. It would be perfect. History, historical figures, ninjas, and more ninjas. Sorry, didn't mean to get all hot and bothered, but the concept is pure gold. And if they make it and make it well, you're looking at not just a game of the year, but game of the decade. Sorry for hyperbole. What do you guys think? Thanks." Dude, based off of how just gorgeous Assassin's Creed Origins is and the attention to detail with the historical aspect of Egypt and just all the innovations they made with Origins, imagine that level of care in a Japanese Assassin's Creed game. Now, I know they may be a little too late now because Ghost of Tsushima is coming from Sucker Punch, right? Yeah, so it may be too late now because that game may be amazing.
Yeah,
they may have missed their window to do a full-on Japanese game. I know they did that little side-scrolling, whatever they're called, like Chronicles, Assassin's Creed Chronicles, Japanese.
That's in China, though.
China, okay.
Yeah. You know what?
Japan specifically.
They haven't touched Japan yet.
I'm honestly glad that they haven't done it because I don't think they would have done it justice. Because
at the time,
yeah. I think now, having played Origins, like you said, I would like it a little bit more, but I think to them, I think that made too much sense, and I think that they intentionally wanted to do weirder or more different time periods. So I think that's probably one of the reasons to do that.
I think it'll happen one day.
I think one day, but being a ninja in stuff, it relies so heavily on stealth, and until Origins, the stealth in Assassin's Creed has been straight ass, and I just think the like combat and stuff, I don't think it felt like a ninja. So I think it would have had to have been a very drastic change from what they had been doing. And I think that's probably one of the reasons as well, is that it used to be with them not taking time, they were going to time periods where the animations that they had kind of, made sense, and they could be kind of same-ish to where they could pump out the games yearly. And I just think the ninja combat stealth and stuff is so drastic that it would have taken longer to make those games. But yeah, I think that would have been cool. But like the point you made, I'm interested in Ghost of Tsushima, and I honestly think that game probably is going to be cooler than what they probably would have done. Granted, that's not a ninja. Is that a ninja game, or is it more like a samurai game?
I think it's more samurai.
Okay, well, I know they're not the same, but at least a kind of Asian flair, kind of, you know what I'm talking about. But
I'd like a samurai
This is what I
Assassin's Creed.
imagine the look of the assassin from like the box cover for a Japanese Assassin's Creed game. It looks so cool to me. Imagine like a tight-fitting ninja-like garb it's all black but has red trimming. It has the classic Assassin's Creed hood, and he just has like a short blade, two short bladed like katanas, like one on his back and one on like his lower back, kind of where like a tramp stamp would go, like two like that, where he would pull them out with double swords. Of course, you have a bow and arrow, but you also have like tight ninja pants, but you also have like the tail of your assassin's garb that kind of hangs low, and he has like the ninja shoes on. So cool, man. I can already imagine how cool it would look. But like you said, I mean, nowadays would be the optimal time to tackle it with all the innovations they've made to Assassin's Creed. And imagine even going forward after all they've learned, even the development process of Origins, they'll even expand upon that in the future. So,
Where do they go next?
That's a great question. I don't know. I hope I know Ubisoft recently was asked about, is it going to return to being an annual franchise? They didn't explicitly say yes or no. They just said, well, right now we're focusing on Origins and all kinds of expansions we have coming to that world. So look forward to that. I hope they take at least a few years off in between each and every one, at least 3 years to really go hard.
I don't think we're getting an Assassin's Creed this year. It looks like they're kind of, and they've even made comments that they want to embrace stories that evolve, games as a service, and Assassin's Creed is essentially a games as a service. There are weekly events with bosses. They're supporting it with DLC. I know in March we're going to get the big Pharaoh DLC pack, and who knows what they have planned for the future. So I would assume they're just going to kind of stick with Origins for at least a year.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to finally get into that. I loved what I played of technically the full game on PS4 for a bit, and especially after hearing all the praise you have for it, Preston, I really want to get into it myself. So
it's really good. I'm excited to get back in the DLC and very optimistic about the future.
Excellent. Well, Preston, while you bring us out, Jacob, will you bring up iTunes reviews, see if we got any new ones?
Yeah. This has been the It's Obvious Gaming Podcast, show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games, obviously. You can find the video of this podcast over at youtube.com/itsobviousgaming. If you haven't subscribed to us over there already, please do so, and be sure to like and comment down below to get involved with the community. Please rate and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Also check us out at Spotify as well. Any podcasting service, you'll be sure to find us. Please check the description down below for timestamps, as we said earlier, and links to our social media pages, our gamer tags, pretty much anything you could ever need to get in contact with us on any platform you will find down in the description down below.
That was beautiful.
Thank you, Preston.
Oh, thanks. Jacob, we got some more reviews?
Nothing.
I figured there'd be nothing this week. I had that feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Garrett.
It's okay, though. We'd love to have some more iTunes reviews.
It would make my day and week.
Think about this. I mean, we know there's at the very least hundreds of individuals that tune in every week. Imagine if just 100 of those people submitted an Apple Podcast review, rating, and subscription.
Yeah.
To do wonders for the future of this channel.
So easy. You're sitting at the bus, you're watching your sister's gymnastics rehearsal, you're at a school dance, you're at the movies.
You're waiting in line at the register.
Yeah, just whip your phone out, give us a review, call it a day. Takes less than 5 seconds, brings a smile to our face. We'll bring a smile to your face because you'll have all the goodness of this podcast on the go. So it benefits both of us.
Yeah, and that's the goal is the growth of this channel to enable us to do more with it than we're currently doing, because we're very limited with time and creative. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just creatively and with time, there's only so much we can do with the time and money we have, and it's not even really about the money. It's just about having an audience that garners that level of creativity from us to make it worth the investment of our time and money we will have to spend to do bigger and better things for this channel. So that's what we'd love to do down the road, and we can only do it with your help.
Yep.
So we invite you to help us in that journey if you're willing to do so. But regardless, we can't thank you enough for your presence, for your listening, and your questions for the community questions every week is always greatly appreciated.
Keep those questions flowing. We know we have been lacking on the Ask IOG, but we hope to get back to it.
Oh, Ask IOG, yeah, you're right, big time. Yeah, that will continue at some point. what was I going to say? Yeah, and any questions or comments you have to leave on YouTube is a big help too, as far as growing on YouTube. Any community questions you want to respond to, or anything about Kingdom Come, like we discussed, or anything in the news we talked about, if you just want to comment on YouTube, and we'll totally respond to you there. And all of our conversations, of course, continue in Discord week in and week out. If you're a listener, you've yet to join our Discord channel, we highly encourage you to do so, because we have a great time there. All of us team up and play various video games each and every week. We have discussions about fun movie trailers, or anime, or TV shows, and music, all kinds of cool stuff we're always sharing on there, and a lot of awesome people in the IOG community, the EOG community. So we added a bunch of new emotes this week as well. So
we did, yeah.
You have those at your disposal.
Not only did we do that, but we had 3 unique streams this week with one for each of us.
You're right. Yeah, that's the first time I think we have ever done that in one week.
Yeah.
Jacob, you did Monster Hunter, right?
I did.
Jacob did Monster Hunter. I did Kingdom Come, and Preston also did Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they were pretty fun streams, and look forward to at least 1 or 2 more streams this week. I'm going to be gone for about 5 days straight, so I will have no access to my computer whatsoever. I will be editing a Sea of Thieves highlight video from Preston and I. That's about 4 hours I have to dig through. It's going to take forever.
Gosh.
But that will come out at some point this week, hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday. And Jacob, you may be able to stream at least once or twice this week, right?
Yeah, I will.
Tune into your man Jacob there on twitch.tv/itsobviousgaming. Throw us a follow there as well. We're slowly growing over there, and we'd love to reach a pretty substantial place on that website as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure, and I can't thank you enough for joining me this week, despite the massive delay of recording it. I'm glad it still worked out.
Absolutely. Thanks to the listener as well. We love you all very much.
We do.
Eog. We'll see y'all next week.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.